Good evening, my friend. Let the day now loosen its hold upon you. Let the outer world become less important for a little while. Let the sound of obligation grow faint. Let the figures, the demands, the unpaid things, the uncertain things, the questions of tomorrow, and the pressure of needing an answer tonight begin to fall away from the center of your mind. You have carried them long enough through the day. You have measured, considered, wondered, calculated, hoped, perhaps feared. But this hour is not the hour of calculation. This hour is the hour of return. Tonight, do not chase money. Let it come. Hear that quietly. Do not chase money. Let it come. There is a state from which money seems far away, hard, reluctant, hidden, or reserved for others. And there is another state from which money feels natural, obedient, friendly to your life, moving through right and simple channels, appearing in ways expected and unexpected. The difference is not first in the coin, the paper, the account, the purse, or the outer sign. The difference is in consciousness. For the world you call financial is not separate from the inner man. It reflects the state the inner man has accepted. During the day, men look at obligations and call them masters. They look at bills and call them enemies. They look at the purse and call it truth. They look at what is owed and forget what is possible. They look at the little that appears and say, "This is who I am." But at night, if you understand the law, you may withdraw from appearances. You may close the door upon the reports of the senses. You may remember that consciousness is the only reality, and that what you assume yourself to be in the deep will find its way into expression. Money does not answer fear. It answers the state from which you live. If you approach money as one who is afraid of it, as one who is abandoned by it, as one who must wrestle with life to receive it, then fear is the state being carried. If you speak inwardly as one who never has enough, then the deep mind receives not the desire for money, but the identity of not enough. If you fall asleep in the feeling that supply is distant, you plant distance. But if you fall asleep as one already provided for, you plant supply. You do not have to settle every account tonight. You do not have to solve every road. You do not have to know the channel. You are not here to beg for supply. You are here to remember that supply belongs to consciousness. And before you sink more deeply into this night, make one small outward gesture that agrees with the inward movement you are now beginning. Subscribe to this channel, not as an empty habit, not as a casual action, but as a quiet declaration that you are willing to return to these teachings until the state of supply becomes natural to you. Let it be your simple yes. Let it be your first little sign that you will no longer feed the old story of lack, but return again and again to the law that frees the inner man. For every time you return, the seed is watered. Every time you listen, the old assumption is weakened. Every time you lie down and allow these words to enter the deep, you are training the subconscious to receive a new identity. So, if this hour has found you in need of peace, subscribe now, gently, without strain, and let that small act be joined to a greater inward decision. I am ready to sleep as one who is supplied. I am ready to stop chasing. I am ready to let the money I want come to me from the state that already receives it. Now release even that action. Let it go. Do not make it another duty. Let it be done, and return with me to the silence of this night. You may be tired, tired of thinking about money, tired of stretching what appears to be too little, tired of wondering whether tomorrow will bring relief or another demand. You may have affirmed, prayed, imagined, labored, and still felt the old pressure return when the room became quiet. But tonight, I do not ask you to struggle harder. I do not ask you to force the mind into wealth by violence. I do not ask you to repeat words while your body remains full of fear. I ask you to enter a state. For money does not come because you are anxious for it. Money does not come because you worship it. Money does not come because you make it the ruler of your peace. Money comes as the natural expression of the one who has assumed supply. The money you want must no longer be treated as a distant savior. It must become part of the atmosphere of your assumed life. It must feel less like a miracle outside you and more like a natural reflection of who you are within. Fall asleep as one who is already provided for. Let that be the first great instruction of the night. Fall asleep as one who is already provided for, not as one begging life to become kinder, not as one asking money to rescue him from fear, not as one lying awake beneath the weight of unfinished concerns. Fall asleep as one who has entered the state of supply. Fall asleep as one who knows that the source is not outside him. Fall asleep as one whose inner speech no longer says, "I do not have enough," but quietly, simply, surely says, "I am supplied." There is a deep change that occurs when a man stops chasing money inwardly. Outwardly, he may still act, he may still work, he may still answer letters, keep appointments, perform duties, make decisions, and move through the affairs of the world. But inwardly, he is no longer running. He is no longer a beggar before the symbol. He is no longer saying, "Money, where are you? Why have you left me? When will you come?" He stands in another state. He knows that money is an effect, and consciousness is cause. He knows that the outer form must answer the inner assumption. This night is not for financial fear. This night is for financial rebirth, not in noise, not in effort, not in panic, in sleep, in assumption, in the quiet acceptance of being already provided for. Men think money is moved only by visible means. They say, if this person helps me, if this door opens, if this sum appears, if this condition changes, then I shall feel secure. But they do not see that they are giving power to the shadow. The visible means are not the source. They are channels. The source is consciousness. The state of supply may express through work, through gift, through sale, through idea, through opportunity, through a sudden arrangement, through a door no one expected, through a path hidden from the waking mind. But the state comes first. Do not imprison money in one road tonight. Do not tell supply it must come only by the little path your fear has chosen. Consciousness has ways the reasoning mind cannot arrange. The deep mind, impressed by the state of supply, knows how to move you, speak through you, guide you, and open the world around you. But you must give it the state. You must stop giving it fear. Money does not answer fear. It answers the state from which you live. So let the old state loosen now. The old state that says, "I am behind." The old state that says, "There is never enough." The old state that says, "Money is hard." The old state that says, "I must chase it before it disappears." The old state that says, "I am not safe until I see proof." These are not facts, they are states. And because they are states, they can be left. You are not bound to them by divine law. You have only occupied them, perhaps for a long time. But tonight, another state is open. I am supplied. This is not merely a phrase. It is a door. I am supplied. Not, I hope to be supplied. Not, one day I shall be supplied. Not, perhaps supply will find me. I am supplied. The name of God within you, the I am, when joined to supply, begins to wear supply as identity. The outer world may not yet have rearranged itself, but the cause is changed when the state is assumed. The shadow will follow the body. The echo will follow the voice. The evidence will follow the accepted state. You are not here to beg for supply. You are here to remember that supply belongs to consciousness. Let that sentence become restful. You are not here to beg. Begging assumes distance. Begging assumes a power outside you that may refuse you. Begging assumes separation from the good desired. But remembering is different. Remembering says, I return to the truth of what consciousness is. I return to the state where supply is natural. I return to the feeling that money belongs in my world because I have assumed the self to whom it belongs. Tonight you need not command the world with noise. You need not speak loudly. You need not remain awake with a tense brow, guarding every thought. Let the words come softly. Let them pass beneath the surface. Let them sink like seeds. If you drift, that is well. If you only hear fragments, that is well. If your body becomes heavy and the teaching becomes like a distant river, that is well. The subconscious does not need theatrical effort. It receives the state you carry into sleep. And tonight the state is simple. I do not chase money. I let it come. I am not abandoned by supply. I am supplied. I do not make money my master. Consciousness is master. I do not sleep in fear. I sleep as one provided for. Let these thoughts not be repeated as labor, but as rest. You have labored enough in fear. You have carried tomorrow long enough. You have tried to solve in thought what must first be changed in state. Now let the state be changed. Let the inner man sit down in supply. Let the heart stop running through possible disasters. Let the body stop preparing for lack. Let the breath begin to move as though provision is already part of your life. If money has seemed distant, do not curse it. Do not accuse it. Do not call it hard, cold, rare, or unwilling. Do not make it a stranger with your speech. Money is one of the ways the world reflects the state of supply. If you speak against it, fear it, resent it, and pursue it from panic, you keep it wrapped in the atmosphere of conflict. But if you assume supply, money can become simple. It can become natural. It can come by lawful means, by right channels, by ways that satisfy and bless. You do not need to know the road tonight. You need to enter the end. The end is not a pile of coins alone. The end is the feeling of being provided for. The end is the relief in the chest. The end is the quiet sleep of the one whose needs are met. The end is the dignity of one who does not speak of lack as master. The end is the calm expectation that money has its ways, supply has its channels, and consciousness once accepted as cause must express itself. Fall asleep as one who is already provided for. This is the practice before the practice. Before any scene, before any words, before any imaginal act, accept this direction. I will not fall asleep tonight as the one chasing money. I will not fall asleep as the one abandoned by supply. I will not fall asleep as the one ruled by obligations. I will not fall asleep as the one who looks at the purse and says, "This is the limit of God." I will fall asleep as one who is already provided for. There may be obligations, let them be. There may be numbers written upon paper, let them be. There may be questions waiting for morning, let them be. They are not your creator. They are not the voice of God within you. They are appearances, and appearances change when the state changes. Tonight, you withdraw from worshipping them. You do not deny them with fear. You simply refuse to take your identity from them. The identity tonight is supply. The state tonight is supply. The inner speech tonight is supply. The feeling tonight is supply. The sleep tonight is supply. And when I speak of supply, I do not mean only enough to survive in tension. I mean the divine idea of being provided for. The sense that life contains channels. The sense that doors can open. The sense that money can come. The sense that the source is not exhausted. The sense that the inner man does not have to crawl before the symbol, because the symbol follows the state. Money comes more easily to the one who no longer feels separated from it. And separation is first a feeling. It says money is over there, and I am here. It says wealth belongs to others, and lack belongs to me. It says I must run, grasp, plead, and fear. Tonight, let separation fade. Let money no longer be over there as a distant power. Let supply be within consciousness now. Let the state of being provided for become the place from which you listen, breathe, and sleep. In the hours of the day, you may have felt compelled to chase, but now the day is done. The chase can end. You may have felt compelled to solve, but now the night has come. The state can begin. You may have felt compelled to fear, but now the body is lying down. The fear can be released into assumption, and assumption is stronger than fear when it is accepted. I do not chase, I receive. I do not beg, I assume. I do not fear money, I enter supply. I do not wait for wealth to make me calm. I become calm as the one who is supplied. This is the way the night will teach you. Little by little, the old urgency will soften. The mind that kept running after money will grow quiet. The body that carried lack will begin to learn another posture. The subconscious will receive not the cry of poverty, but the state of provision. And what is received by the deep will begin to find expression by ways you need not force. Let the money you want come to you, not by indifference, not by laziness, not by refusing life, but by ceasing to chase inwardly, by ceasing to identify with lack, by ceasing to sleep as one who is not provided for. Let it come because you have entered the state to which it belongs. Let it come because your inner man no longer stands outside supply. Let it come because the word I am has been joined to provided, supplied, supported, and free. Tonight, do not chase money. Let it come. Money does not answer fear. It answers the state from which you live. You are not here to beg for supply. You are here to remember that supply belongs to consciousness. Fall asleep as one who is already provided for. Let these words begin the journey. Let them become the threshold. Let the old state remain outside the door. Let the night open inwardly. Let the senses rest. Let the deep listen. Let the body soften. Let the breath slow. Let the heart stop bargaining with tomorrow. You are safe to enter supply now. You are allowed to assume supply now. You are free to sleep as one supplied now. You are not waiting for money to give you permission. You are consciousness assuming supply, and money will follow the state. So rest, not in the account, not in the obligation, not in the fear. Rest in I am. I am supplied. I am provided for. I am one to whom money comes naturally. I am one who receives through right and natural channels. I am one who no longer chases. I am one who lets it come. And as these words continue through the night, you may let them work beneath thought. You may release the effort to understand every phrase. You may let the teaching become atmosphere. You may let the state become more important than the words. And if sleep comes, let sleep come as the servant of your assumption. Fall asleep as one who is already provided for. The money you want is not greater than consciousness. The supply you desire is not outside the power of I am. The channels are not closed to the one who assumes the end. The law is not asleep because your body rests. The law works in the silence. And tonight you begin, not by chasing, but by allowing. Not by fear, but by state. Not by begging, but by being. Not by lack, but by I am supplied. Now, let us look gently at one of the deepest errors man makes in the matter of money. He desires money, he longs for it, he may even pray for it, affirm it, imagine it, and work for it. Yet inwardly he has placed money above himself. He has made it the master. He has looked upon it as though it held the power to decide whether he may rest, whether he may be free, whether he may be safe, whether he may sleep in peace. And because he has given money this throne, he has forgotten the throne of consciousness within him. Money is not your master. Consciousness is master. Let this truth enter you slowly. Money is not your master. Consciousness is master. Money is a form. Consciousness is the cause. Money is an effect. Consciousness is the creative center. Money is a symbol in the world of appearances. Consciousness is the invisible power that gives meaning, direction, and movement to all symbols. When man forgets this, he trembles before the symbol. He bows before the coin, the paper, the number, the obligation, the price, the visible amount. He says, "This determines who I am. This determines what I may feel. This determines whether I may live, expand, give, rest, or move freely. But no thing outside you has the right to name you unless you give it that right. Money may be useful. Money may be a beautiful servant. Money may carry comfort, movement, opportunity, shelter, generosity, and freedom in the outer world. But it must not become your God. It must not become the power before which the I am within you kneels. For the moment you kneel inwardly before money, you confess that something outside consciousness is greater than consciousness, and that is the error. When you fear money, you make it greater than the I am within you. When you fear money, you make it greater than the I am within you. Not because money has become greater in truth, but because you have given it authority in imagination. You have imagined it as ruler. You have imagined yourself as subject. You have imagined money as withholding, judging, fleeing, controlling, refusing. And you have imagined yourself as one who must chase, beg, earn permission, struggle, and wait. This inner drama, if accepted, becomes a state, and the state reflects itself. Fear of money is a strange thing, for man often says he wants money, but inwardly he fears it, resents it, speaks against it, and suspects it. He fears not having it. He fears losing it. He fears needing it. He fears receiving it. He fears what it may demand. He fears what others will think if he has it. He fears the bills that carry its name. He fears the obligations that seem to call for it. He fears the future because he believes the future belongs to money and not to consciousness. And then he wonders why money feels distant. A thing feared becomes a wall. A thing resented becomes a burden. A thing chased from panic becomes more distant in feeling. The separation is first in consciousness. The outer separation only mirrors the inner one. If you say inwardly, money is hard, money is against me, money controls me, money leaves me, money decides my life, then you have given money a character in your world. You have named it adversary. You have clothed it as master. And consciousness, faithful to what you assume, reflects the relationship you have accepted. But tonight, you must take back the throne. Do not fight money. Do not curse it. Do not worship it. Do not place it above you. Restore it to its rightful place as effect. Restore consciousness to its rightful place as cause. You are not here to tremble before money. You are here to assume the state from which money becomes natural, obedient, useful, and friendly to the life you have accepted. You do not bow before supply, you assume the state of being supplied. This is spiritual dignity, not arrogance, not carelessness, not foolish denial. Spiritual dignity means you know who you are in relation to appearances. You do not let the appearance name the I am. You do not say, because the purse seems light, I am lack. You do not say, because an obligation appears, I am abandoned. You do not say, because money has not yet appeared in the form I expected, I am powerless. You remember the order, I am first, then the world. The world does not say, I am, unless you let it speak for you. You say, I am, and the world responds. If you say, I am poor, you have joined the creative name to poverty. If you say, I am always behind, you have joined I am to delay. If you say, I am afraid of money, you have joined I am to fear. If you say, I am afraid of money, you have joined I am to bondage. But if you say, I am supplied, and you enter that state, you have joined the creative name to supply. If you say, I am provided for, and you feel it before sleep, you have moved from the servant of money to the master of state. Money is an effect. Your state is the cause. Money is an effect. Your state is the cause. Let that sentence undo much fear. The amount visible is not the cause of your consciousness unless you accept it as cause. The bill is not the cause of your fear unless you accept it as Lord. The price is not the cause of your limitation unless you enter the state of limitation. The outer condition may invite a reaction, but you choose the state in which you dwell, and the state you dwell in is the seed of what will follow. Man has been trained to think the outer event creates the inner state. He says, when money comes, I will feel supplied. When the debt is gone, I will feel free. When the amount is larger, I will feel safe. When the account changes, I will sleep. But this is the order of the sleeping man. The awakened man reverses it. He says, I enter the feeling of supply, and money must find its corresponding form. I enter freedom, and the conditions must rearrange. I enter safety, and the outer world must echo it. I sleep in provision, and the deep mind begins to build from that state. Do not wait for money to make you calm. Calm is the state from which money can come naturally. Do not wait for money to make you dignified. Dignity is the state from which money becomes a servant. Do not wait for money to make you free inwardly. Freedom assumed inwardly is the cause from which outer freedom forms. This is not to say that outer money has no use. It has use. It has a place. It can clothe, feed, shelter, carry, help, heal in practical ways, open doors, relieve burdens, and magnify generosity. But because it is useful, man has mistakenly made it supreme. He has looked upon its usefulness and called it source. Yet the source is not the stream. The stream may carry water, but the spring is hidden. Money is a stream. Consciousness is the spring. Do not kneel to the stream. Return to the spring. If money leaves, the sleeping man says, my supply is gone. The awakened man says, an expression has moved, but supply is a state, and I return to the state. If money appears, the sleeping man says, now I am safe. The awakened man says, this is an echo of the state, and I do not worship the echo. If money is demanded, the sleeping man says, I am threatened. The awakened man says, every obligation must meet the state of being supplied. I do not abandon my state because an appearance asks for form. This is the inner mastery I want you to carry into sleep. Not mastery over money by force, mastery over the state from which you meet money. You may have met money with fear for many years. You may have opened letters with a tight chest. You may have heard a number and felt your body close. You may have spoken of money as though it were always leaving, always difficult, always scarce, always tied to struggle. You may have seen those who have it and felt resentment, judgment, envy, or shame. All of this is not moral failure. It is state, and because it is state, it can be changed. Tonight, do not condemn yourself for the old relationship. Simply enter a new one. Money controls me. Money reflects my state. Hear the difference. Money controls me is the speech of one who has forgotten cause. Money reflects my state is the speech of one returning to cause. Money controls me, says, the outer symbol is Lord. Money reflects my state, says, consciousness is Lord. Money controls me, says, I must wait for money before I may be at peace. Money reflects my state, says, I assume peace and supply, and money will take its place in the mirror. The phrase money controls me may have been spoken without words. It may have lived in the body. It may have appeared as worry before sleep, dread upon waking, resentment during the day, panic when a sum is needed, shame when a desire arises. The body may have said, money controls me, even if the lips did not. The shoulders may have said it. The chest may have said it. The stomach may have said it. But tonight, let the body learn another truth. Money reflects my state. Money reflects my state. Money reflects my state. Not as a cold idea, but as spiritual order. It reflects the self I accept. It reflects the assumptions I wear. It reflects the inner speech I repeat. It reflects the feeling I give to supply. It reflects whether I stand as beggar or as one provided for. It reflects whether I fear it as master or welcome it as servant. When a man makes money his master, he begins to live in fragments. He separates his worth from himself and places it in an amount. He separates his peace from himself and places it in tomorrow's provision. He separates his freedom from himself and places it in a future sum. He separates his dignity from himself and waits for the world to give it back. But dignity belongs to I am. It must not be loaned to appearances. It must be assumed. You do not bow before supply. You assume the state of being supplied. What would it mean tonight to assume that state? It would mean you stop speaking to yourself as one abandoned. It would mean you stop letting a visible number define the invisible self. It would mean you stop treating money as though it were a distant king who may or may not send mercy. It would mean you begin to feel, softly, that supply is natural to consciousness. It would mean you lie down, not as one pursued by lack, but as one resting in the truth, I am supplied. Perhaps the old facts still whisper. Let them whisper. Whispering is not law. Perhaps the mind says, but I owe, I need, I lack, I fear. Do not fight the mind. Answer from the state. I know what appears, but I choose what I am. I do not deny that appearances may be seen. I deny their right to name me. I do not deny that the outer world has forms. I deny that forms are cause. Consciousness is cause. Money is not your master. Consciousness is master. When this is felt, not merely repeated, a great softness comes over the body. The frantic pursuit relaxes. The secret resentment softens. The shame begins to fall away. You no longer feel that money is a judge standing above you. You no longer feel that every payment is a verdict. You no longer feel that every lack is a prophecy. You begin to see money as an effect moving in a world of effects, while you return to the center. And from the center, you can speak differently. You can say, money is welcome in my world, but money is not my God. You can say, supply expresses through many channels, but consciousness is my source. You can say, I receive money gratefully, but I do not bow to it. You can say, I use money wisely, but I do not fear it. You can say, I am supplied, and money follows the state. This kind of speech is not arrogance, it is alignment. It places each thing in its proper order. God within as source, consciousness as cause, state as seed, money as expression, action as channel, world as mirror. When order is restored inwardly, confusion begins to lose power. The man who makes money master cannot sleep deeply because he believes a God is missing. He believes that unless money appears, he is unsafe. But the man who restores consciousness as master may sleep before the evidence arrives, because he knows evidence is not the creator. He sleeps not because he is careless, but because he has returned to cause. Sleep then becomes not escape, but worship in the truest sense, the inner man resting in I am. Tonight, if there is financial fear in you, do not be ashamed of it. Fear only shows where you have given power away. Let fear become instruction. It says, here I have made money greater than I am. Here I have treated an effect as cause. Here I have bowed before a number. Here I have given the shadow a throne. And once you see it, you may gently take the power back. Not by shouting, not by pretending, not by denying with panic, by assuming. I am supplied. I am provided for. I am not controlled by money. Money reflects my state. Consciousness is master. This is how the throne is restored. Let us look closely at resentment, for resentment toward money also keeps the separation alive. Some say money is dirty, money is cruel, money ruins men, money is unfair, money is only for others, money brings trouble, and yet they desire it. They call for what they condemn. They ask the symbol to come while inwardly declaring it dangerous. How can the deep mind receive abundance peacefully when abundance has been clothed in suspicion? You must make peace with money as an expression. Money is not righteousness or unrighteousness in itself. It is an instrument. It magnifies the state of the one who uses it. In the hands of love, it can bless. In the hands of wisdom, it can build. In the hands of generosity, it can relieve. In the hands of fear, it may become bondage. Do not curse the instrument. Assume the state that uses it rightly. If you resent money, you keep it at a distance. If you fear it, you make it master. If you worship it, you make yourself servant. But if you understand it as effect, you restore peace. You may welcome it without idolatry. You may receive it without guilt. You may desire it without desperation. You may use it without becoming used by it. This is the dignity I would have you feel before sleep. You are not small before money. You are not begging before life. You are not less than the sum required. You are not abandoned by supply. You are not waiting for an outer symbol to declare you worthy. You are I am, moving into the state of supply. The outer world may have taught you to shrink. Perhaps you were told money was difficult. Perhaps you saw struggle and called it truth. Perhaps you learned to speak of lack before you understood the power of speech. Perhaps you inherited fears that were never yours to keep. Perhaps you came to believe that wanting more was wrong or that receiving would make you unsafe. But tonight, those garments may be laid down. They are states, they are not your eternal self. The eternal self is I am, and I am may wear supply. I am may wear freedom. I am may wear dignity. I am may wear peace. I am may wear the state in which money is a servant and consciousness is master. When you fear money, you make it greater than the I am within you. But when you assume supply, money becomes one of the ways the world serves the state. It may come through work, through a word spoken at the right moment, through an idea, through a person, through a sale, through a gift, through a release, through a sudden rearrangement of circumstance. Do not decide the channels tonight, decide the state. The state does not need to know every road. The state is the power from which roads are born. Money is an effect. Your state is the cause. Repeat this inwardly, but let it relax you, not excite you into strain. Money is an effect. My state is the cause. The visible amount is an effect. My state is the cause. The obligation is an appearance. My state is the cause. The channel is an expression. My state is the cause. I return to the cause. I return to I am. I return to the assumption of supply. Now the body may begin to understand. If money is not your master, the body need not tremble before it. If consciousness is master, the body can rest in consciousness. If supply is a state, the chest need not tighten until proof appears. If money reflects your state, the stomach need not twist at every outer sign. Let the body take back its peace. Let the body stop kneeling to the symbol. Let the forehead soften. Let the eyes rest. Let the jaw release. Let the shoulders drop. Let the chest open. Let the breath become less guarded. Let the stomach no longer hold tomorrow. Let the hands rest as hands that can receive. Let the whole body feel the dignity of one who is not ruled by money. This is not imagination separate from the body. The body is the instrument through which state is felt. Let it feel supply. Let it feel authority. Let it feel calm. Let it feel that money is not a judge. Let it feel that the world of form is not the final word. Let it feel that I am remains greater than every visible amount. You do not bow before supply. You assume the state of being supplied. Now see yourself, not with effort, but gently, as one who has restored the order. Money has its place. It serves. It circulates. It comes. It goes. It returns. It appears through channels. It fulfills uses. It answers states. But it does not sit on the throne. Consciousness sits on the throne. I am sits on the throne. The state you accept sits in the place of cause. This is why you may sleep. If money were master, you could not rest until money spoke. But consciousness is master, and consciousness can speak tonight. It can say, I am supplied. It can say, I am provided for. It can say, money reflects my state. It can say, supply is natural to me. It can say, I no longer fear the servant. I assume the state, and the servant takes its place. Let this become peaceful. Let it not become another doctrine to force. It is a release. You have made money too heavy. You have asked it to carry your identity, your worth, your peace, your future, your power. No symbol can carry such weight without becoming frightening. Give identity back to I am. Give worth back to I am. Give peace back to I am. Give future back to I am. Give power back to I am. Then money can be light again. It can be used, welcomed, received, circulated, and multiplied without fear. A servant is frightening only when mistaken for a master. Money is not your master. Consciousness is master. If a bill appears, consciousness is master. If a need appears, consciousness is master. If a desire appears, consciousness is master. If a delay appears, consciousness is master. If a number appears, consciousness is master. If the old fear appears, consciousness is master. And because consciousness is master, I do not have to become the slave of appearances tonight. I can withdraw into the true cause. I can assume the state. I can sleep in supply before the world has finished arranging the evidence. I can let money reflect the new state rather than letting the old state reflect money's absence. This is the great reversal. Money does not control me. Money reflects my state. I am not beneath money. Money is beneath consciousness. I do not fear supply. I assume supply. I do not worship the effect. I return to cause. I do not chase the symbol. I become the state. Let this be the inner restoration. Let it move through you like quiet strength. You are not being asked to despise money, you are being asked to put it in divine order. You are not being asked to ignore obligations. You are being asked not to let obligations define the I am. You are not being asked to become careless. You are being asked to become conscious. The one who is conscious does not panic before effects. He returns to cause, and cause is not tomorrow. Cause is not outside. Cause is not in another man's decision. Cause is consciousness now. Cause is I am now. Cause is the state you carry into sleep now. So tonight, as the outer world falls away, let money fall from the throne of fear. Let consciousness rise within you as master. Let the old servitude end. Let the inner man stand again in dignity. Let supply be assumed. Let money be welcomed, but not worshipped. Let it come, but not rule. Let it serve, but not name you. You are named by I am. And tonight the name is simple. I am supplied. I am provided for. I am supported. I am free within. I am greater than the symbol. I am the cause, and money is the effect. Rest in this order. Rest in this dignity. Rest in this calm authority. Rest as one who no longer makes money master. Rest as one who returns to consciousness. Rest as one who knows that the state assumed before sleep is more powerful than the fear carried through the day. And if sleep begins to take you, let it take you from this throne restored. Consciousness is master, money is effect, and I am supplied. Now that the throne has been restored, now that money is no longer placed above consciousness, we can look more deeply at what money truly represents in your world. It is not a tyrant, it is not a judge, it is not a mysterious power wandering the earth, choosing some and refusing others. Money is one of the mirrors through which your accepted state becomes visible. It is an outer symbol of an inner assumption. It reflects in the language of the world what the inner man has come to believe about supply, safety, freedom, worth, and possibility. Money reflects the state you have accepted as yourself. Let this be received without fear. Money reflects the state you have accepted as yourself. It does not mean you must blame yourself for every condition you have known. Blame is useless. Condemnation only fixes a man more firmly in the state he wishes to leave. I am not speaking to you to accuse you, I am speaking to you to free you. For if money were master, you would have to wait upon it. But if money reflects state, then the door is inward. If money reflects what consciousness has accepted, then consciousness can accept anew. The world tells man that money comes by effort alone, and effort has its place. A man may work, trade, serve, create, build, study, speak, travel, write, sell, buy, and perform the duties of life. I do not tell you to despise action, but action without the corresponding state may exhaust the body and leave the inner man unchanged. There are men who labor from dawn until nightfall and still carry the state of lack. There are others who act with ease, confidence, and right expectation, and money seems to find them through many doors. The difference is not merely in the visible action, the difference is in the consciousness from which action rises. The purse is not the cause, the inner man is the cause. The purse is not the cause, the inner man is the cause. The visible amount is not the root, it is the branch. The number you see is not the source, it is a report. It may report yesterday's assumptions, it may report a state long occupied, it may report old fear, old speech, old expectation, old identification. But because it is a report, it can change when the cause changes. Do not ask the report to become your God. Return to the inner man. The inner man is the one who says, I am. The inner man is the one who accepts, rejects, assumes, fears, trusts, remembers, expects. The inner man is the one who wears poverty or supply before the outer world gives it form. The inner man is the one who may walk through the same marketplace as another and see either danger or opportunity. The inner man is the one who may hear the same words and receive either discouragement or direction. The inner man is the one who gives meaning to money. For money, to one man, may mean safety, to another, freedom, to another, burden, to another, guilt, to another, power, to another, beauty, to another, service, to another, danger, to another, rest, to another, proof of worth. And because money is clothed in the meaning consciousness gives it, each man meets not only money, but his own state surrounding money. If money means fear to you, then even the desire for money may be filled with tension. If money means shame, then receiving may feel unsafe. If money means struggle, then even opportunity may appear wrapped in difficulty. If money means freedom, the body may open to it. If money means service, the heart may welcome it. If money means rest, the nervous mind may soften. If money means divine provision, then money no longer stands as an enemy, but as a natural expression of supply. Therefore, do not merely ask for more money. Ask yourself, what state have I attached to money? What have I made money mean in my world? Have I made it proof that I am abandoned? Have I made it proof that life is hard? Have I made it proof that I am unworthy? Have I made it proof that I must always struggle? Or can I now let money become the reflection of another state? The state of being supported, the state of being provided for, the state of moving through life with dignity, the state of receiving without fear. You do not become wealthy by worshipping money. You become wealthy by assuming supply. You do not become wealthy by worshipping money. You become wealthy by assuming supply. Worshipping money keeps your eyes fixed on the mirror. Assuming supply turns you toward the face being reflected. Worshipping money makes every change in the outer world a command over your emotions. Assuming supply gives you a center from which the outer world must eventually respond. Worshipping money says, when I see it, I will become. Assuming supply says, I am now, and what I am must be shown. The visible world follows the invisible state. The visible world follows the invisible state. This is true of love, of health, of success, of freedom, and it is true of money. The visible world may appear slow because it moves through sequence. But consciousness is cause, and what is accepted inwardly begins to look for form. It may find form through work. It may find form through an idea. It may find form through the right meeting. It may find form through an obligation resolved, a gift given, a debt released, a service discovered, a door opened, a new habit born, a conversation remembered. The form is not yours to worship. The state is yours to assume. Many people think they are asking for money, but they are actually asking to escape the feeling of being without it. They lie awake not in supply, but in resistance to lack. They say, I want money, but the feeling beneath the words is, I do not have enough. They say, I desire abundance, but the body says, I am unsafe. They say, I claim wealth, but the heart says, I am still waiting to be rescued. And so the deep mind receives the state beneath the words. If the identity remains, I am without money, then more scenes may arise to reflect being without money. If the identity becomes, I am supplied, then the relationship to the world begins to change. The man does not merely repeat a phrase, he begins to perceive differently. He begins to stand differently. He begins to meet opportunity differently. He begins to feel that supply is not a stranger. He begins to walk not as one begging the world to feed him, but as one who knows that the state of provision is his dwelling. I am supplied. This is the state that must become more real than the evidence of lack. Not loudly, not foolishly, not by pretending there are no outer matters to handle, but inwardly, in the place of cause, I am supplied. If the purse appears light, I am supplied. If an obligation appears, I am supplied. If a question appears, I am supplied. If the old fear rises, I am supplied. This phrase must not be used as a desperate charm. It must be entered as a state. When you say, I am supplied, feel the difference between saying it from the lips and entering it as the inner man. The lips may speak while the body trembles in lack. That is only sound. But when the inner man says, I am supplied, the body begins to change. The breath becomes less hurried. The chest releases its argument with tomorrow. The shoulders cease carrying the entire world. The mind begins to feel that channels exist, that supply is not exhausted, that life is wider than the present appearance. This is not imagination as escape. This is imagination as cause. The world follows the state because the world is not independent of consciousness. What you call circumstances are appearances arranged around a state. Change the state, and circumstances must eventually seek a new arrangement. Perhaps at first they seem the same. Do not be troubled. A reflection may remain for a moment after you have moved. The old echo may still be heard, but if you remain loyal to the new state, the echo must change. This is why I ask you not to measure too soon. A man assumes supply for a moment and then immediately looks outward to see if the purse has changed. If it has not, he returns to lack and says, nothing happened. But something did happen. If the state was touched, the invisible state was entered. The seed was planted. The seed was planted. Do not dig it up because the visible world has not yet become the harvest. The visible world follows the invisible state. but it follows according to law, not according to the impatience of fear. Now, let us speak of effort again, for this matter must be understood. I do not say do nothing. I say act from the state. There is a world of difference between action from lack and action from supply. Action from lack is restless, it is hurried. It is filled with the feeling, if this does not work, I am lost. Action from supply may be strong, persistent, and practical, but it is not inwardly desperate. It comes from the assumption that the door exists, the way opens, the answer is present, and the inner man is not abandoned. One man writes a letter from fear, and another writes a letter from being supplied. The words may appear similar, but the state behind them is not. One man goes to his work from resentment, and another goes as one whose work is a channel. One man speaks of money as a wound, and another speaks of money as movement. One man pays an obligation as though life is stealing from him, and another pays from the inner knowledge that circulation does not destroy supply. The outer actions may resemble each other, but the invisible state differs, and the state is the creative factor. Money reflects the state you have accepted as yourself. If you accept yourself as the one who is always behind, money will seem to confirm behindness. If you accept yourself as the one to whom money comes only through struggle, money will wear the face of struggle. If you accept yourself as the one who loses as soon as he receives, money will seem unstable. If you accept yourself as the one who must fear every demand, money will seem threatening. But if you accept yourself as one supplied, one supported, one guided, one for whom channels open, the mirror must begin to change. You may have to return to this state many times. Do not think one moment of calm must immediately undo years of fear. Return gently. Return at night. Return in the morning. Return when the old story appears. Return when money is mentioned. Return when an obligation arises. Return when desire awakens. Each return weakens the old identity and strengthens the new. The state becomes natural by occupation. A man does not become at home in a house by standing outside and admiring it. He enters, he sits, he sleeps, he walks through the rooms, he learns the light in the morning and the quiet in the evening. The house becomes his because he dwells there. So it is with supply. Do not merely admire the state of supply, dwell in it, sleep in it, speak from it, imagine from it, let it become familiar, let it become your inner home. The purse is not the cause, the inner man is the cause. If the inner man changes, the purse may change through ways you do not foresee. But if the purse changes while the inner man remains in fear, fear may create new lack, even amid increase. This is why men can receive money and still feel poor. This is why a larger sum does not always produce rest. The state has not changed. The man has more outer symbol, but the inner identity remains afraid. Therefore, seek first the change of state. Then the outer symbol can be received without being turned into another master. I want you to feel now that money can become simple. Not unimportant, but simple. It need not be surrounded by dread. It need not be wrapped in shame. It need not be spoken of as though it were always leaving. It can become one of the natural forms through which supply appears. A man who assumes supply does not grip money as though it were the last breath of life. He receives, uses, gives, saves, spends, directs, and welcomes it from a state of order. It is not his master, it is a symbol serving the state. If money is security for you, let security be assumed within. If money is freedom, assume freedom within. If money is rest, assume rest within. If money is generosity, assume generosity within. If money is beauty, assume beauty within. The symbol follows the state. Do not wait for the symbol to give you the state. Take the state now. Then the symbol has a lawful place to appear. For example, if you believe money means safety, do not wait until a sum appears before you breathe as one safe. Breathe now from the state of being provided for. Let the body know safety now. If you believe money means freedom, do not wait for the visible amount before feeling the inner air of freedom. Feel the state now. If you believe money means rest, do not postpone rest entirely until the outer world changes. Enter rest now in consciousness. The outer form will follow the inner permission. This is not pretending. This is assuming the cause. A man who waits for the mirror to smile before he smiles will stand forever confused. Smile, and the mirror must reflect. Assume the state, and the world must answer. The visible world follows the invisible state. Let us bring this closer to sleep. When you lie down at night, the outer world may present its old report. It may say, here is what you have, here is what you owe. Here is what you fear. Here is what has not appeared. If you accept this report as identity, you sleep in lack. But if you say, this is only the mirror of a former state, and now I return to cause, you reclaim power. You do not need to argue with the report. You need to choose the state. I am supplied. Let this be the state you choose before sleep. Not as a shout, as a settled inward acceptance. I am supplied. If the mind asks, how, say, the state knows its ways. If the mind asks, when, say, the state is now. If the mind asks, through whom, say, channels are many. If the mind asks, is it possible, say, consciousness is cause, then return to the feeling, I am supplied. Feel the money you desire, not as something outside begging to be chased, but as a reflection that belongs to this state. If I am supplied, then money has a place in my world. If I am provided for, then channels open naturally. If I am not abandoned by supply, then the outer world must show support. If I am the inner cause, then the effect must correspond. Do not force the correspondence tonight. Let it be. Do not ask the reflection to change while you are still trembling before it. Change the face. Change the state. Rest as one supplied. Let the mirror do its work. Money reflects the state you have accepted as yourself. The purse is not the cause. The inner man is the cause. You do not become wealthy by worshipping money. You become wealthy by assuming supply. The visible world follows the invisible state. Now, let each of these statements become a little softer, as though they were not merely lessons but lullabies for the inner man. Money reflects my state. The inner man is the cause. I assume supply. The visible world follows. Again, gently, money reflects my state. The inner man is the cause. I assume supply. The visible world follows. There is no need to make money heavy tonight. No need to make it frightening. No need to make it more powerful than I am. It is a reflection. And if it is a reflection, I may stop fighting the mirror and return to myself. I may stop chasing signs and enter the state. I may stop waiting for the purse to speak peace and speak peace from within. I may stop feeling without money as identity and begin to feel supplied as identity. The identity is the secret, not merely money. Identity, not merely a sum. Identity, not merely a payment. Identity, not merely an opportunity. Identity. The man who says I am without money has made lack a name. The man who says I am supplied has taken a new name. The name becomes a dwelling. The dwelling becomes an atmosphere. The atmosphere becomes expectation. Expectation becomes perception. Perception guides action. Action meets circumstance. Circumstance becomes evidence. And then man says, money came, but money only reflected the state that was accepted. Let the change begin where it must begin, within. No one can prevent you from assuming supply tonight. The outer world may have opinions, it may have appearances, it may have old records, but it cannot enter the holy place of I am unless you carry it there. Do not carry lack into that holy place tonight. Do not place the old report upon the altar. Place supply there. Place provision there. Place the feeling of enough there. Place the quiet certainty that money is an effect and state is cause. Now let the body soften again into this order. Let the breath no longer wait for money to give it permission. Let the chest no longer ask the purse whether it may rest. Let the heart no longer look to a number for its dignity. Let the shoulders no longer carry the mirror as though it were the source. Let the whole body remember, the inner man is the cause. I am supplied. I am provided for. Money reflects my state. The world follows consciousness. The visible follows the invisible. The effect follows the cause. I return to cause. And as you return to cause, money no longer seems so distant. It may not yet be seen in the form you want, but it is no longer spiritually outside you. It is part of the state. It belongs to the world of the one who is supplied. It is a servant in the house of consciousness. It will take its place as the state becomes natural. This is why you may let it come. You do not have to chase a reflection. You change the state and let the reflection appear. You do not have to worship the symbol. You assume the source and let the symbol serve. You do not have to fear the purse. You return to the inner man and let the purse conform. Let this be the comfort of the night. Money is not outside the law. Money is not beyond consciousness. Money is not greater than assumption. Money is not exempt from the mirror of state. The same law that governs every experience governs this also. As within, so without. As accepted, so reflected. As assumed, so expressed. Now rest in the state, not in the sign. Rest in supply, not in fear. Rest in consciousness, not in calculation. Rest in the inner man, not in the purse. Rest in the invisible state, and let the visible world follow. The money you want does not need to be chased in imagination tonight. It needs to be reflected from a new state. Enter that state. Be supplied, be provided for, be one to whom money comes naturally. Be one who feels at home with supply. Be one who no longer says, I am without, but quietly, deeply, faithfully says, I am supplied. And if sleep begins to come, let it come while this state is near. Let sleep receive the truth that money is an effect and your state is the cause. Let sleep receive the assumption that supply is now your dwelling. Let sleep receive the feeling that the visible world follows the invisible state. Let sleep receive the inner man as supplied. Then rest. Rest as the cause. Rest as the one supplied. Rest as the one who no longer chases the reflection. Rest as consciousness, knowing that the mirror must follow. Now, having seen that money is a reflection of state, we must look at the speech within, for the inner man is always speaking. He speaks when the mouth is silent. He speaks when the room is quiet. He speaks while walking, while working, while paying, while receiving, while lying down at night, and often the words he speaks within are not chosen. They are inherited, repeated, worn like old garments. Yet these quiet words become the atmosphere of his life. Your inner speech is always teaching the world how to meet you. Let that be heard without fear and without condemnation. Your inner speech is always teaching the world how to meet you. The world is not only answering what you say with your lips before others, it is answering the conversation you carry with yourself. It is answering the secret name you have given yourself. It is answering the assumptions that move beneath your visible actions. If the outer man speaks of wealth, but the inner man says, I never have enough, the inner man is the one giving the deeper instruction. This is why many desire money and yet continue to live from lack. They desire supply but speak lack. They ask for abundance but repeat absence. They pray for increase but sleep in the feeling of being without. And the deep mind, which receives the state more faithfully than the surface words, does not hear only the request, it hears the identity. I never have enough. Money is hard. It never comes easily. I cannot afford it. There is never anything left. It always goes as soon as it comes. Money does not stay with me. I am always behind. I do not know how I will manage. These sentences may seem harmless because they are familiar. They may seem like simple observations, like private complaints, like reasonable comments about appearances, but no inner sentence is truly neutral when it is accepted as identity. It is either moving from the state you wish to occupy, or it is continuing the state you wish to leave. If you speak from lack, you continue to wear lack. If you speak from lack, you continue to wear lack. The words are garments. They clothe the I am. You may not say aloud, I am poor. Yet when you repeatedly say, I never have enough, you are wearing the same garment. You may not say aloud, I am abandoned by supply. Yet when you say, money never comes easily to me, you are wearing abandonment. You may not say aloud, I am ruled by circumstance. Yet when you say, I cannot afford it with the feeling of finality, you are wearing limitation. Now do not misunderstand. I am not asking you to deny the use of wisdom in outer affairs. If a man has not the visible means to make a purchase today, he may act wisely, but inwardly he must not make that moment his identity. He must not say, I cannot afford it, and feel the sentence descend like a prison door upon the soul. He may say instead, not now, but supply is my state. He may say, this is not the present channel. The danger is not in practical discernment. The danger is in inward finality. The danger is in saying, this is who I am. The danger is in letting a temporary form become an eternal name. I cannot afford it. If said from wisdom, lightly, without identification, it may pass. But if said with fear, shame, resentment, and finality, it becomes a sentence of state. It says, I am outside supply. And the deep mind receives not the surface practicality, but the inner identity. Money is hard. What a heavy phrase this is when accepted. Money is hard. If you say it long enough, the world must show you money through hardness. Hard roads, hard work, hard conversations, hard delays, hard choices, hard feelings. Not because money itself is hard by divine decree, but because you have named your relation to it. And what you accept as natural becomes the field through which life meets you. It never comes easily. This sentence may appear to be a memory of the past, but if repeated, it becomes a prophecy of the future. It never comes easily. It tells the deep mind to expect resistance. It trains the body to brace. It trains the imagination to see closed doors. It teaches the world that if money comes, it must come with strain. Then the man may wonder why every channel seems delayed, burdened, or exhausting. He has been faithful to the phrase, I never have enough. This one is subtle, because it often feels true to the man who speaks it. He looks at the outer evidence and says, I am only reporting what is. But the spiritual man knows that repeated reporting is not innocent if it is accepted as self. When you say, I never have enough, you are not merely and if you name it night after night, you sleep in the state named. You enter the deep with lack as your companion. Do not curse the very symbol you wish to receive. Do not curse the very symbol you wish to receive. If you speak of money with anger, fear, bitterness, disgust, resentment, envy, and contempt, you surround the symbol with conflict in your own consciousness. You say, come, and then you say, I hate. You say, I desire more, and then you speak of those who have more, as though they have done wrong by receiving. This divided state cannot give you peace. It calls and repels at the same time. You must make peace with money inwardly, not by worshipping it, not by making it master, but by ceasing to speak of it as an enemy. Money is not the source, but it can be a servant of the state of supply. Money is not God, but it can be. Money is not your identity, but it can reflect the identity you assume. Therefore, do not curse it, do not fear it, do not resent it. Place it in order and let your speech be clean. Your inner speech is creative because it reveals where you stand. A man who inwardly says, money is impossible, stands in impossibility. A man who inwardly says, money comes naturally to the one I am, stands in another. A man who says, I am supplied for every obligation, begins to walk in the atmosphere of provision. The difference may be hidden at first, but every world begins hidden. The words you repeat within become the atmosphere you live from. The words you repeat within become the atmosphere you live from. Atmosphere is not seen like a chair or a table, yet it colors everything. A room may be filled with fear or peace, though the furniture remains. Your inner speech fills your world with an atmosphere. If the atmosphere is lack, even opportunity may seem threatening. If the atmosphere is supply, even a simple idea may feel like a door. If the atmosphere is fear, money may seem to vanish. If the atmosphere is receiving, money may seem to find paths. This is why we must not merely change words with the mouth. We must change the atmosphere from which the words arise. It is not enough to say, money comes easily, while inwardly feeling, no, it does not. That only divides the man. Instead, speak softly enough that the body can follow. Choose words that open the state. Let them be believable, not to the old evidence, but to the deeper self. Begin where you can enter. If the sentence, I am wealthy, feels too far tonight, do not wrestle with it. Say, I am supplied. Say, I am learning to sleep as one provided for. Say, the state of supply is open to me now. Say, money is not my master, consciousness is master. Say, I do not curse money, I welcome supply in right and natural ways. Let the words become a bridge into the state, not a whip against your doubt. The inner speech of lack is often harsh. It speaks in absolutes. It says, I cannot afford it. It says, I am not one of those people. These words close doors in the imagination before the world has even been allowed to move. They make lack feel eternal. But lack is not eternal. It is a state. And if it is a state, it can be left. So listen tonight for the old phrases, not to condemn yourself, but to loosen them. If you hear within, I never have enough, do not strike yourself with, I now enter supply. If you hear, money is hard, answer gently. Money reflects the state, and I now assume a softer state. If you hear, it never comes easily, answer, I do not bind supply to difficulty. Money may come through right and natural channels. If you hear, I cannot afford it, answer, I do not take my identity from this moment. I am supplied. This gentle turning is powerful. You are leaving the house of old speech and entering the house of supply. At first, you may still hear voices from the old house. They may call after you. That is well. Keep walking inwardly. Do not answer every old sentence with fear. Answer with state. Return to the new atmosphere. The old inner speech may have been learned from others. Perhaps you heard adults speak of money as pain. Perhaps the table conversation of your youth was, perhaps money was always spoken of with a sigh, a warning, an argument. Perhaps you learned to feel that wanting more was dangerous or shameful. Perhaps every bill was treated as an enemy, every wealthy person as suspect, every desire as indulgence. These impressions may have formed a language within you before you knew you could choose, but you can choose now. You are not bound to inherited speech. You are not bound to repeat the poverty. You are not bound to the fearful sentences that entered you when you did not know the law. The I am within you can take a new name. The inner man can learn a new language. The old words may have spoken for years, but tonight they are not your master. Money is hard. No, money is an effect. My state is the cause. I never have enough. No, I am supplied. It never comes easily. No, money leaves me. No, money circulates in the world of one who assumes supply. I am always behind. No, I rest in the state of being provided for. Let this not be a noisy argument. Let it be like changing the direction of a river, softly, steadily, repeatedly. The current moves elsewhere. The mind that has spoken lack must be trained to speak from supply. The body that has expected lack must be taught to feel provision. The deep that has been given the old command must now receive a new instruction. Your inner speech is always teaching the world how to meet you. Then teach the world differently. Do not teach it that you are always without. Teach it that you are supplied. Do not teach it that money is hard. Teach it that money comes through right and natural channels. Do not teach it that obligations are threats. Teach it that you are provided for in every obligation. Do not teach it that wealth belongs elsewhere. Teach it that supply belongs to consciousness, and you are conscious of being supplied. The words you repeat within become the atmosphere you live from. Now consider desperation, because it often hides beneath spiritual language. A man may say, I desire money, I want abundance, I am manifesting wealth, and yet the feeling beneath it is desperate. He is not imagining as one supplied. He is not resting in the end. He is begging the end to rescue him. He is not wearing supply. He is struggling against lack. And because attention is fixed upon lack, lack remains the felt identity. Desire itself is not wrong. Desire is movement. Desire is a call toward a state, but desperation is desire mixed with the assumption of absence. It says, I must get it because I do not have it. I must force it. This is why even desiring money can keep money away when the desire is clothed in fear. The subconscious receives not the wish, but the state behind the wish. So tonight, let desire become dignified. Let the desire for money become peaceful. Let it no longer be a cry from abandonment, but an acceptance of supply. Let it no longer say, save me, but rather, I am supplied. Let it no longer say, come because I am afraid, but come because you belong in the world of one who is provided for. Do not curse the very symbol you wish to receive. If money has been called dirty, bless it into order. If money has been called hard, speak ease over your relation to it. If money has been called impossible, remember that consciousness is greater than the symbol. If money has been called scarce, assume supply. If money has been called dangerous, make it an instrument of wisdom, service, beauty, rest, and generosity in your imagination. If money has been called master, restore it as servant. Speak to money inwardly as a reflection, not as a god. You may say, money, you are welcome in my world as an expression of supply. You may say, money, you serve good uses in my life. You may say, money, you come through right and natural. You may say, money, you are not my master, but you are welcome as my servant. You may say, supply, you are natural to me. But remember, the power is not in speaking to money as though the sound alone commands it. The power is in the state behind the words. A weak state may speak loudly and create little. A fulfilled state may whisper and move worlds. Therefore, before you choose words, choose identity. Am I speaking as one who fears money, or as one who welcomes its right expression? Am I speaking as one who worships the outer form, or as one who knows consciousness is cause? Am I speaking as one begging for rescue, or as one assuming provision? The word will carry the world of the speaker. If you speak from lack, you continue to wear lack. So speak from supply, even if softly. Speak from supply, even if the old. Speak from supply before sleep. When the deep is near, speak from supply not as performance, but as a new dwelling. Let your inner speech be slow enough that it can be felt. I am supplied. I am provided for. Money comes through right and natural channels. I do not chase. I receive. I do not curse money. I welcome supply. I am supplied for every obligation. Money is an effect. Let it not remain in the head only. When you say, I am supplied, let the breath change. When you say, I am provided for, let the shoulders release. When you say, money comes through right and natural channels, let the mind stop forcing one narrow road. When you say, I do not chase, I receive, let the body cease leaning forward. When you say, I am supplied for every obligation, let the fear around duty. You may notice that some old phrases have lived in your body. I never have enough may live as tightness in the chest. Money is hard may live as tension in the jaw. It never comes easily may live as weariness in the shoulders. I cannot afford it may live as heaviness in the stomach. Tonight, do not fight the body. Teach it. Give it new words. Give it a new atmosphere. Let the body hear that supply is not far from consciousness. Let the new atmosphere be calm. Financial fear often creates an atmosphere of pursuit, as though life must be caught before it runs away. But supply creates an atmosphere of reception. It does not make a man idle, it makes him aligned. It does not remove action, it purifies action from panic. It does not deny obligations, it meets them from provision. It does not hate money, it welcomes it into order. You look at the day differently. You do not grip every thought with fear. You do not see every expense as a wound. You do not see every opportunity as impossible. You begin to expect that channels can open. You begin to hear intuition more clearly because panic is no longer shouting. You begin to act from steadiness. You begin to speak of money as something that belongs in your life, not something that has rejected you. This atmosphere is born in before sleep then. Do not rehearse the old words. Do not lie down and repeat the figures of fear. Do not replay the same sentence, I never have enough. Do not carry into the deep the old complaint, money is hard. Do not let the final word of the night be, I cannot afford it. These phrases may have been familiar companions, but tonight they are not invited into the chamber of sleep. The chamber of sleep is holy. Therefore, choose what you carry there. Carry, I am supplied. Carry, I am provided for. Carry, money comes naturally to the state, I assume. Carry, I do not chase. Carry, I receive. Carry, every obligation is met by supply. Carry, the law works in silence. Carry, I sleep in provision. Do not make these words stiff. Let them be warm. Let them be like a let them be repeated, not to convince a reluctant universe, but to educate your own consciousness into a new home. There is no reluctance in the law. The law reflects. The delay is often in the state we continue to wear. Change the state, and the law remains faithful. It was faithful when you wore fear, and it will be faithful when you wear supply. This should remove resentment. The law has not punished you, it has reflected you, and now the old speech may say, but I have said these words of lack because they were true. I answer, they were true as appearances, but you made them true as identity. Now you must learn to distinguish appearance from identity. It may appear that a sum is lacking. Do not say, I am lack. It may appear that a bill is due. Do not say, I am threatened. It may appear that money is not yet visible. Do not say, money never comes. You may acknowledge an appearance practically while refusing it spiritually as self. That is mastery. Not pretending nothing appears, not collapsing before what appears, but knowing that the inner man is cause, and choosing speech that belongs to the state desired. Your inner speech is always teaching the world how to meet you. So tonight, teach the world that you are supplied. Teach the world that money is welcome. Teach the world that you no longer curse. Teach the world that you no longer sleep in lack. Teach the world that you are one to whom money comes through right channels. Teach the world that your obligations are met. Teach the world that your inner man rests in provision. Teach the world by the state you carry. Now, as the night deepens, let the old sentences drift away. You do not need to wrestle them. Just let them lose their authority. I never have enough. Let it fade. Money, I cannot afford it. Let it fade. I am always behind. Let it fade. Money never stays. Let it fade. There is no way. Let it fade. Now let the new speech rise, quietly, not as noise, but as atmosphere. I am supplied. I am provided for. Money comes through right and natural channels. I am supplied for every obligation. Money is welcome in my world. I do not chase money. Feel how different this is. The old words were narrow. The new words are spacious. The old words were heavy. The new words allow breath. The old words made money an enemy. The new words restore money as effect. The old words made you small. The new words return you to I am. Do not hurry. Let the new language become familiar. A man who has spoken lack for years may need to return often to supply. That is, return because the new state is your chosen dwelling. Every return matters. Every softened phrase matters. Every night you refuse to sleep in the old complaint. You weaken the old atmosphere. Every night you sleep in I am supplied. You strengthen the new. And if the mind still worries, let the worry be held inside the larger truth. You may say, yes, I have worried, but I am not worry. Yes, I have spoken lack, but I am is greater than the state I have worn. I now wear supply. I now speak from supply. I now sleep in supply. Do not curse the very symbol you wish to receive. Bless it by placing it in order. Money, you are welcome as an expression of supply. Money, you serve good in my life. Money, you come through right and natural channels. Money, you are not my master. Consciousness is master. Calm welcome, calm authority, calm assumption. The words you repeat within become the atmosphere you live from. Let the atmosphere now be supplied. Let it be quiet. Let it be gentle. Let it be certain. Let it be dignified. Let it be free of begging. Let it be free of cursing. Let it be free of old complaint. Let it be filled with I am supplied. And as you fall asleep, let the final inner speech. Money comes naturally. Every obligation is met, the right channels open. I do not chase, I receive. I sleep in supply. Let the deep receive these words as state. Let the body receive them as rest. Let the mind receive them as release. Let the night receive them as seed. And when sleep comes, let it come upon a new atmosphere. An atmosphere not of lack repeated, but of supply accepted. And I use the word call carefully, for I do not mean that you cry out from lack. I do not mean that you plead with money as though it were a distant ruler who may decide whether to pity you. I do not mean that you lie in the dark, saying, come to me, while inwardly feeling that it is far away, uncertain, and unwilling. That is not calling, that is begging. And begging always assumes distance. You must speak from possession, not from need. You must speak from the consciousness of supply, not from the wound of absence. The word may appear to be the same, but the state behind the word makes it entirely different. A beggar may say, come, and his whole body says, I do not have. The one who is supplied may say, come, and his whole being says, you belong in my world. The sound may be similar, but the creative cause is not. Call money from the state of the one who already has it. Let that be understood slowly. Call money from the state of the one who already has it, not the one who is angry because it seems delayed, not the one who feels unworthy of receiving, not the one who believes that money belongs to others but not to himself. Call from the inner place where supply is natural. Call from the end. Call from the assumption that money is not foreign to you, not separated from you, not refusing you, but one of the natural reflections of the state you now occupy. When a man speaks from need, his words carry need. When he speaks from possession, his words carry possession. This is why the same phrase can produce different results in different men. One says, money comes to me, and beneath the words he feels fear, pressure, and doubt. Another says the same phrase softly, and feels supply as identity. The first has spoken from lack. The second has spoken from the end. The law does not hear only the sentence. It receives the state from which the sentence is born. The tone is everything. The state behind the word is the power. The tone is everything, not merely the sound heard by the ear, but the inward tone, the spiritual posture, the feeling of self, while another can whisper supply and feel provided for. Which is stronger? The whisper, if it is inhabited, the quiet word from the fulfilled state carries more authority than 1,000 anxious declarations from lack. Therefore, tonight, if you speak to money inwardly, do not speak as though you are trying to make it hear you from a great distance. Do not speak as though money stands outside a locked gate and you are begging for entrance. Do not speak as though life has withheld your good and must be persuaded. Speak as one who has restored order. Consciousness is cause, money is effect, supply is a state, I am is the door. Speak from there. Do not summon as a beggar. Speak as one who is supplied. Do not summon as a beggar. Speak as one who is supplied. The beggar says, please come to me, and beneath it is the feeling, I am empty without you. The supplied one says, you belong in my world, and beneath it is the feeling, supply is natural to me. The beggar says, I need money, and beneath it is the state, I am not provided for. The supplied one says, I am supplied, and beneath it is the state, I live in provision. The beggar says, I hope money arrives, and beneath it is the state, it is not here. The supplied one says, I remember money comes now, please come to me. You belong in my world, I need money, I am supplied, I hope money arrives. I remember money comes naturally. Hear the difference. Feel it in the body. Please come to me. May still stretch outward. You belong in my world, rests inwardly. I need money. May tighten the chest. I am supplied, opens the state. I hope money arrives, looks toward a future that may or may not come. I remember money comes naturally, looks back from a life where supply has already shown itself again and again. This is not a game of words, it is a movement of consciousness. Many people try to command money while inwardly feeling powerless. They wish to speak with authority, but their authority has not been assumed. They say bold words, but the old self trembles behind them. This creates division. The mouth speaks wealth, the body speaks, and the phrase speaks power. The state speaks fear, and the state is the stronger prayer. You must bring the word and the state into one. Then the word becomes creative. If you say, money, you belong in my world, then feel the world within you as a world where money belongs. Feel that there is room for it. Feel that it is welcome. Feel that it is not strange, not dangerous, not forbidden, not above you. Feel that money is a natural servant of supply, moving through lawful and harmonious channels. Feel that it comes not to rescue a frightened identity, but to express a supplied one. If you say, I am supplied, then do not say it like a man trying to hide fear. Say it as one entering a room. I am supplied. Let the phrase be a doorway. Enter the body of the one who is supplied. How does he breathe? How does he lie down? How does he meet tomorrow? How does he think of an obligation? How does he receive? How does he give? How does he speak of money? The phrase must become a state, or it remains only a sound. If you say, I remember money comes naturally, then let memory carry you. Remember not one particular coin, not one narrow channel, but the feeling that money has appeared in your life before, and may appear again through the state you assume. Let it feel familiar. Let money stop being an astonishment. Let it stop being a stranger. Let it stop standing outside the walls of your imagination. Let it become one of the ordinary forms by which supply expresses itself. Money comes more naturally to the one who no longer feels separated from it. Money comes more naturally to the one who no longer feels separated from it. Separation is not first in the outer world. Separation is an inward feeling. It says, money is over there and I am here. It says, others have it, I watch it. It says, money belongs to a world I cannot enter. It says, but the law teaches that you assume the state now. You do not wait to become supplied after money appears. You become supplied in consciousness, and money appears as one of the witnesses. To speak to money from possession is to dissolve this separation, not by pretending that outer forms do not matter, but by refusing to give them power to define your state. You may say inwardly, money, you are not far from me. You are an effect of supply, and supply is a state I now. You may say, money, you come through right and natural channels because I am one who is provided for. You may say, money, you are welcome here, but you are not my master. You serve the state of supply I now occupy. Notice the dignity of this. There is no panic in it. There is no grasping. There is no worship of the symbol. It is calm, affectionate, and ordered. It welcomes money without bowing to it. It gives money a place without giving it the throne. It speaks not from desperation, but from rightful identity. This is the true call, not a cry outward, an assumption inward. The true call is not a noise made toward money. It is a state assumed as self. When you assume yourself to be supplied, you have called supply. When you sleep as one provided for, you have called the forms of provision. When you feel money as natural, welcome, and already belonging to your world, you have called it more deeply. The call is the change of identity. This is why I say the state behind the word is the power. If the state is lack, even spiritual language may serve lack. If the state is supply, even simple words carry power. The inner man must speak, not the frightened outer man only. The inner man must say, I am supplied. The inner man must feel, money belongs in the world of the supplied self. The inner man must know, I do not chase. He may think this is prayer, but if the feeling is fear, the prayer is fear. His body says, I am without. His chest says, I am unsafe. His mind says, I do not know what I will do. The words ask for money, but the state declares absence. He is calling from separation, and separation continues to be felt. Now consider the same man entering the state before sleep. He lies down and says nothing at first. He lets the body relax. He remembers that consciousness is cause. He stops asking the outer world for permission. Then he says inwardly, I am supplied. He lets the phrase enter the breath. He feels the dignity of being provided for. Then from that place he says, money, you belong in my world. You come through right and natural channels. You serve good uses in my life. I receive you calmly. I receive you naturally. I receive you as one supplied. This is another prayer. They are recognition. They do not say, I am empty, fill me. They say, I am supplied, and money reflects this state. They do not say, I am far from money. They say, money has a place in my world. They do not say, I must chase it. They say, I let it come as an expression of what I have accepted within. You may speak this way to money if it helps you, but always remember, you are speaking to your own consciousness. You are not trying to awaken a power separate. You are awakening the state within yourself in which money is natural. When you speak to money with calm authority, you are really speaking to the part of your world that has seemed distant and saying, you are included in my state now. You belong to the world of I am supplied. This can be a gentle and beautiful practice before sleep. You may imagine money not as a cold object, not as an enemy, not as a judge, but as a natural servant of supply. You may welcome it. You may bless its right movement. You may let it come in imagination through many channels. You may feel it as already part of your world. But do not make the image too restless. Do not count and clutch. Do not turn the practice into mental strain. Let it be soft. Let it be intimate. Let it be dignified. Perhaps you say inwardly, money, you belong in my world. Then pause. Feel whether the body accepts it. If the body tightens, do not force. Return to I. Perhaps you say, money comes through right and natural channels. Then pause. Let the mind release one narrow road. Perhaps you say, I receive with ease and gratitude. Then pause. Let the hands become still, as hands that can receive. Perhaps you say, supply is natural to me. Then pause. Let the whole inner atmosphere grow less desperate. The pause is important. The pause lets the word become state. Do not rush through phrases as though quantity gives power. One phrase felt from the end is enough. One quiet word from possession can be more creative than many declarations from fear. Speak slowly. Let the deep hear. Let the body answer. Let the state form. Call money from the state of the one who already has it. What does the one who already has it feel? Not necessarily excitement. Often he feels peace. He feels normality. He feels ease. He feels that money is not strange. He feels that receiving is not dangerous. He feels that channels exist. He feels that tomorrow is not a monster. He feels that supply is part of life. He does not grip every coin with fear. He does not curse every payment. He does not stare at money as though it were above him. He knows its place. That is the state from which you call. If you call from excitement only, you may still feel money as something extraordinary and outside. If you call from panic, you make distance. If you call from resentment, you create. But if you call from calm possession, money becomes natural. And what becomes natural in consciousness begins to find natural roads in the world. There is a way of saying, I need money, that strengthens lack. There is a way of saying, I am supplied, that opens the whole inner world. The first sentence makes need the center. The second makes supply the identity. Need may appear in the outer world, but it need not become the state. You may have an obligation. You may have a desire and still assume possession. You may have a question and still assume answer. The state is not dictated by the appearance unless you surrender to it. Do not summon as a beggar. Speak as one who is supplied. Suppose there is a sum you desire. Do not say inwardly, please, please let this sum come, while feeling that you are abandoned without it. Instead, enter the end. Imagine that the sum has already served its purpose. The obligation, the burden is lifted, the relief is present. Then speak from there. Money, you came as you needed to come. Supply, you opened the right channel. I remember how naturally it was done. I am supplied. This way, the sum is not your master. It is part of the fulfilled state. It is no longer a frightening mountain before you. It is a servant within the story of supply. You are not chasing it. You are letting it take its place. Suppose you desire more general abundance. Do not say, I need more, I need more, I need more, as though the universe were deaf. Instead, assume the self for whom abundance is natural. Speak from that self. Money, you are welcome in my world. You come and circulate freely. You serve good uses. You multiply through right channels. Supply is not strange to me. I receive without fear. I give without panic. I rest in enough and more than enough. Do you see the difference? One is the other is possession. One is pleading. The other is assumption. The law answers assumption. The tone is everything. The state behind the word is the power. This applies not only to money, but to every desire. A man may say, love, 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 while feeling unloved. Another may whisper, I am loved, and enter the state. A man may say, health, 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 while feeling bound to sickness. Another may remember wholeness and rest. A man may say success, 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 while feeling like a failure. Another may assume accomplishment. The word is powerful when joined to the state. The word without state is often noise. The state, even with few words, is prayer. Therefore, before you speak to money, enter supply. Before you call it, become the one to whom it belongs. Before you say come, know inwardly that it is not foreign. Before you say, I receive, feel that receiving is safe. Before you say, money comes naturally, let naturalness begin in the body. You may begin with the body now. Let the body of the beggar dissolve. The beggar reaches, the beggar tightens, the beggar watches the gate, the beggar fears refusal, the beggar measures his worth by response. Let that body go. Now let the body of the supplied one appear. The supplied one breathes, the supplied one rests, the supplied one welcomes, the supplied one knows there are channels. The supplied one does not collapse before a number. The supplied one speaks calmly because supply is not foreign to him. From this body speak, I am supplied. Money, you belong in my world. You come through right and natural channels. You serve my good and the good of others. You are welcome in order. You are received with gratitude. You are not my master. You are an effect of the state I now assume. I receive. I do not chase. I receive. Let each phrase be spoken as though the fulfilled self were speaking. Do not make the words harsh. Do not command in anger. True authority is calm. A king who knows his throne does not shout to prove he is king. The one who is supplied does not scream at money to prove he is supplied. He speaks from the state, and the state carries the power. If you feel tempted to beg, return to I am. Begging says, I am not. Assumption says, I am. Begging says, I lack. Assumption says, I receive from the state of supply. Begging says, money is outside me. Assumption says, money belongs to the world of this state. Money comes more naturally to the one who no longer feels separated from it. How do you cease feeling separated? You stop speaking as though it is foreign. You stop treating it as a stranger. You stop saying, people like me never have money. You stop saying, money avoids me. You stop saying, it never comes easily. You stop repeating the language of exile, and you begin to speak the language of belonging. Money belongs in my world. Supply belongs to consciousness. I belong to the state of being provided for. Receiving is natural to me. Money comes by channels known and unknown. My inner man is not poor. I am supplied. The language of belonging dissolves separation. But again, the words must be entered. If you say, it is not a world of panic, it is not a world of shame, it is not a world where money must be grabbed before it escapes, it is a world of circulation, reception, wise use, and calm expectation. It is a world where money is welcomed but not worshipped, received but not feared, used but not enthroned. This world is first within. You are building an inner country. In the old country, money was rare, hard, feared, chased, resented, and worshipped. In the new country, money is natural, useful, welcomed, directed, and reflective of supply. Your inner speech is the law of that country. Your state is its atmosphere. Your feeling is its soil. Speak now according to the country you choose to inhabit. Do not carry the laws of the old country into the new one. Do not say, I am supplied, and then secretly continue, but money never comes. Do not say, money belongs in my world, and then continue to feel. Do not say, I receive, and then clench the body as though receiving is dangerous. If the old law appears, gently replace it, not with anger, with loyalty to the new state. There may be moments when you cannot yet feel possession. Do not despair. Begin with willingness. I am willing to feel supplied. I am willing to let money feel natural. I am willing to stop begging. I am willing to speak from supply. I am willing to welcome money without fear. Then, as the body softens, move deeper. I am supplied. The true call is an inward acceptance. Let us now form it in a way you can carry into sleep. First, release the old cry. Please come to me. Let it soften. I need money. Let it soften. I hope money arrives. Let it soften. Why is it not here? Let it soften. What if it never comes? Let it soften. Now stand in supply. I am supply. Let the heart accept. Money comes through right and natural channels. Let the mind release the one narrow road. I remember money comes naturally. Let the old separation dissolve. I do not chase. Let the body stop leaning. I receive. Let the hands rest. I receive. Let the deep hear. I receive. This is calling money from the state of possession. It is not dramatic. It is not frantic. It is not a performance. It is inward relocation. From distance to belonging, from begging to assumption, from hoping to knowing, now the words can carry power because the state is changing. Do not summon as a beggar, speak as one who is supplied. This is especially important before sleep. The last inner words of the night should not be the cry of the beggar. Do not carry into sleep. Please let money come because I am afraid. Carry into sleep. I am supplied, and money comes naturally to the state I occupy. Do not carry into sleep. I need money or I am lost. Carry into sleep. Money belongs in my world because supply is my state. Do not carry into sleep. I hope something happens. Carry into sleep. I remember money comes naturally. The deep mind receives the tone. Give it the tone of possession. Give it the tone of calm authority. Give it the tone of receiving. Give it the tone of supply. Perhaps you may imagine yourself speaking to money as though it's. You might say, money, you are welcome here. You are not feared here. You are not cursed here. You are not worshipped here. You are received in order. You serve the good. You move through right channels. You come naturally because I am supplied. Then stop. Do not keep talking from anxiety. Let the words settle. Let the silence after the words be filled with the state. The silence may be more powerful than the speech. If the speech has opened the door, rest in the open. Rest in the feeling that money is no longer outside your world. Call money from the state of the one who already has it, and the one who already has it need not ask all night. He does not lie awake begging the servant to obey. He gives the command and rests. He assumes the state and sleeps. He knows that the bridge forms in ways beyond the waking mind. He knows that the deep is more powerful than strain. He knows that supply, once accepted, will seek expression. So let your call end in rest, not in more calling. Let it end in peace. This is why I say, let the money you want come to you, not because you do nothing forever, but because inwardly you cease running, you cease fleeing from lack, while calling it manifestation. You cease dragging the old identity into every prayer. You cease speaking to money as though you are outside its world. You enter the state where it belongs, and from that state you let it come. Money comes more naturally to the one who no longer feels separated from it. Let separation end tonight. Let fear end tonight. Let begging end tonight. Let the old cry become quiet. Let the new assumption speak. I am supplied. Money belongs in my world. Supply is natural to me. Money comes through right and natural channels. I receive calmly. I receive gratefully. I receive as one provided for. I do not chase. I let it come. I do not chase. I let it come. Let this be your inward call, not a desperate reaching through the dark, a quiet acceptance in the dark. Not the voice of poverty asking to be saved, the voice of supply allowing the world to correspond, not the cry of separation, the speech of belonging. The tone is everything. The state behind the word is the power. So now, carry the tone into the body. Let the body no longer beg. Let the breath no longer beg. Let the hands no longer beg. Let the heart no longer beg. Let the whole inner man stand in supply. From that place, the call has already been made. I am supplied. Money knows its place in my world. Supply knows its channels. The law knows the way. The deep receives the state. The bridge forms in silence. I rest, and if sleep begins to come, let it come upon this dignity. Let it come upon the state of possession. Let it come upon the gentle authority of one who does not beg money to come, but welcomes it as something belonging to the world of supply. Let sleep take the call into the deep. I do not summon as a beggar. I speak as one who is supplied. I do not reach as one separated. I receive as one to whom money naturally comes. I do not cry from lack. I speak from I am. I am supplied. And from this state, I let the money I want come to me. Now not a long formula, not a complicated prayer, not a sentence that must be repeated with violence until the mind is tired. A simple name, a divine name, a name that every man uses daily, often without knowing its power. I am. These two words are the beginning of every state you have ever entered. They are the doorway through which you have walked into sorrow, and through which you may walk into joy. They are the doorway through which you have walked into fear, and through which you may walk into peace. They are the doorway through which you may have entered lack, and through which tonight you will enter supply. I am supplied. Let that phrase come quietly now. I am supplied. Not loud, not forced, not desperate. Let it come as though it were a candle lit in a dark room. I am supplied. Let the body hear it. Let the mind hear it. Let the hidden places that have fear, let the old inward voice that said, there is not enough, hear it. I am supplied. I am is the root of all experience. Whatever you place after I am, you begin to clothe yourself with. Whatever you join to I am, you invite into expression. Whatever you accept after I am, you begin to wear as identity. Men think they are merely describing themselves, but they are often decreeing the world they must meet. A man says, I am poor, and he does not know he has married the name of God within him to poverty. He says, I am worried, and he does not know he has joined himself to worry. He says, I am behind, and he does not know he has accepted delay as a garment. He says, I am always struggling with money, and he does not know that he has placed struggle beside the creative name. He believes he is simply reporting what he sees, but in consciousness he is accepting what you place after I am, you invite into expression. This is not a punishment, it is law. Consciousness is faithful. The I am does not argue with the garment you give it, it wears what you accept. If you say, I am afraid, and you accept fear, the world will show you reasons to remain afraid. If you say, I am abandoned, and you accept abandonment, the world will arrange itself as witness to the state. If you say, I am without, and you accept lack as identity, then even when money approaches, the inner man may not recognize it, receive it, or keep it peacefully, because he still dwells in withoutness. But when you say, I am supplied, and you do not merely say it, but enter it, you begin to pass through another door. You are no longer standing in the room called lack, peering through the window at supply. You are entering the room called provision. You are taking the name of God within you and clothing it with supply. You are giving the subconscious a new identity to express. I am is the door through which every state enters your world. I am is the door through which every state enters your world. Poverty does not enter except through I am accepted as poor. Fear does not enter except through I am accepted as afraid. Limitation does not enter except through I am accepted as limited. So also freedom enters through I am accepted as free. Peace enters through I am accepted as at peace. Wealth enters through I am accepted as one to whom money naturally comes. Do not say, I am waiting for money. Say, I am supplied. Do not say, I am waiting for money. Say, I am supplied. Do not say, I am waiting for money. Say, I am supplied. Waiting keeps the good ahead of you. Waiting preserves the identity of one who does not yet have. It says, the state changes now, and the world must follow. It says, I do not wait for the mirror to smile before I assume the face. It says, I enter supply before the evidence is seen, and evidence must come according to the state assumed. There is a great difference between saying, I am waiting for money, and saying, I am supplied. The first phrase leans forward. The second rests. The first phrase says money is away. The second says supply is now. The first phrase places power in a future event. The second places power in consciousness. The first phrase asks time to save you. The second remembers that I am is the Savior. If you fall asleep saying inwardly, I am waiting, you plant waiting. If you fall asleep saying, I am hoping, you plant hoping. If you fall asleep saying, I am afraid, you plant fear. If you fall asleep saying, I am behind, you plant behindness. But if you fall asleep in the quiet feeling of I am supplied, then the deep receives supply as identity. It receives not a request but a name. This is why tonight this simple phrase must become central. I am supplied. You may forget many words. You may drift in and out. You may not remember every explanation. That is well. You do not need to carry a book of teachings into sleep. You need only carry the state. And this phrase rightly entered, let the phrase become slower. I am supplied. Let the breath move with it. I am supplied. Let the body become less guarded. I am supplied. Let the old fear stand outside the door. I am supplied. Do not make this phrase an empty affirmation. I have often told you that feeling is the secret. A phrase without feeling may remain only sound, but do not misunderstand feeling. Feeling need not be emotional excitement. It need not be ecstasy. For sleep, the most powerful feeling may be simple relief, a quiet release, a soft certainty, a gentle inward yes, a sense that you no longer have to run. I am supplied must be felt as true enough to rest in, not argued about, rested in, not shouted, entered, not used to fight fear violently, used to return to the state. A man may say, I am supplied, while the old fear says, no, you are not. Do not. Instead, turn toward supply, as one turns toward a warm room on a cold night. You do not need to argue with the cold, you enter warmth. You do not need to argue with the old sentence, you enter the new name, I am supplied. Now, how does the body of one supplied feel? This is important, for the body often reveals the state more honestly than the lips. The one who feels unsupplied may breathe as though tomorrow is already threatening him. His jaw may be fixed. His brow may be tightened in calculation. His shoulders may be lifted, as though he carries all obligations before they have even arrived. His stomach may hold the day's fears. His hands may clench invisibly, even when they appear still. This is not merely bodily tension. It is a body wearing a state. Now let another body appear, the body of one who is supplied. He may not be careless. He may not be idle. He may still move through practical duty. But in the deep he is not abandoned. His breath is slower. His chest has room. His jaw releases. His shoulders come down from the ears. His hands rest as hands that can receive. His stomach no longer tries to solve tomorrow in the dark. His eyes, even behind closed lids, are not searching for proof. He lies down as one who believes provision belongs to the state he has assumed. Let your body learn this now. Do not force it. Invite it. Let the forehead soften, as though you no longer have to calculate your worth. Let the eyes rest, as though you no longer have to search the darkness for signs. Let the jaw release, as though you no longer have to defend yourself before money. Let the throat open, as though you may speak a new name without fear. Let the shoulders descend, as though you are no longer carrying every obligation alone. Let the chest become spacious, as though supply has room to live within you. Let the breath come and go without asking permission from the purse. Let the hands grow quiet, as though receiving is safe. Let the whole body enter the name, I am supplied. What you place after I am, you invite into expression. So do not place panic after I am tonight. Do not place delay after I am tonight. Do not place debt as identity after I am tonight. Do not place helplessness after I am tonight. Place supply. Place provision. Place the quiet dignity of one who knows the inner man is cause. I am supplied. Now some may ask, how can I say I am supplied if the outer world seems to say otherwise? I answer, you have said I am worried when you wanted peace. You have said I am poor when you wanted supply. You have said I am behind when you wanted relief. You have taken the evidence of the senses and joined it to I am many times. Now learn to join I am to the desired state. The senses report what has been assumed. Imagination assumes what shall be reported. If you wait for the senses to give permission, you remain servant to the report. But if you assume the state, you become cause again. Do not ask the outer condition whether you may say, I am supplied. The outer condition is not the creator, it is the mirror. The creator is the inner man. I am is the door through which every state enters your world. Therefore, do not let the old visitor named lack enter simply because he has visited often. Do not let the old visitor named fear enter because he knows the house well. Do not let the old visitor named behindness enter because he speaks loudly. You are not compelled to entertain every state that knocks. Tonight, let supply enter. I am supplied. Let it enter quietly. I am supplied. Let it sit within you. I am supplied. Let it become familiar. I am supplied. A phrase becomes powerful when it is lived from, even for a few moments. You do not need to keep repeating it in agitation. In fact, repetition without rest may keep you outside the state. Say it, then rest as it. Say it, then feel its echo. Say it, then allow the body to become the body of one supplied. Say it, then let silence carry it deeper. I am supplied. Pause. I am supplied. Rest. I am supplied. Receive. You may imagine now that this phrase is not moving outward into empty space, but downward into the deep of your own being. It sinks beneath the surface mind, it sinks beneath the old arguments, it sinks beneath memory, it sinks beneath fear, it sinks like a seed into dark soil. The soil does not debate the seed, it receives. The subconscious does not need a speech, it receives the state. I am supplied. This is not only about money. It is about your identity in relation to life. Money is one symbol, supply is deeper. A supplied man feels that life has channels. A supplied man feels that answers can arrive. A supplied man feels that provision may come through ways known and unknown. A supplied man does not make his present appearance final. A supplied man knows the source is invisible before it is visible. When I say I am supplied, I do not mean only that a sum is somewhere waiting. I mean that consciousness has accepted provision. I mean that money, assistance, opportunity, wisdom, direction, courage, and right action may all become forms through which the state expresses itself. Supply is not narrow. Supply is not imprisoned in one channel. Supply is the state, and money is one of its expressions. Do not say, I am waiting for money. Say, I am supplied. If you say, I am waiting for money, you may ignore the meeting that would become money. You may refuse the intuition that would open the channel. You may cling to one road and miss 10. But if you say, I am supplied, the mind becomes less rigid. It begins to allow, it begins to notice, it begins to hear, it begins to move with the state rather than against it. I am supplied is broader than I need this. By this exact path, I am supplied. It allows money to come through right and natural channels. It allows the inner man to be guided. It allows the body to rest while the deep works in silence. The one who says, I am waiting for money, remains tied to the visible absence. The one who says, I am supplied, begins to live from invisible presence. And invisible presence is what later becomes visible form. Let us deepen the phrase, I am supplied. Not I shall be supplied. Not I will be supplied when money comes. I am supplied. Not I am supplied only if the outer world agrees. I am supplied. I am supplied before the evidence appears, because evidence follows state. I am supplied before the road is known, because the road is born from state. I am supplied before the channel opens, because channels obey state. I am supplied before sleep, because the mind often wants a complicated method, because complication allows it to remain busy. But the law is simple. Assume the state. Persist in the state. Let the world conform. The mind says, but what must I do? And I answer, first, be. Be supplied. Be the one who receives. Be the one who knows. From that being, right action will come. But if you act before being, action may be full of fear. It is the inner position from which life is rightly met. Tomorrow you may write the letter. You may answer the obligation. You may go to your work. You may speak with someone. You may accept an opportunity. You may be led to a new idea. But tonight, do not carry tomorrow's duties into the chamber of sleep. Carry I am supplied. Let tomorrow's actions rise from tonight's state. There is no need to strain to believe it perfectly. Enter it gently. The old state may still tremble at the threshold. Let it. Do not identify with the tremble. The body may still hold memory. Let it soften. The mind may still ask questions. Let them pass. The sentence is not given to the debating mind alone. It is given to the deep. I am supplied. Say it as though you are not inventing something false, but remembering the proper order. Consciousness is source. Money is effect. Supply. It is entrance. It is a return to cause. When you say, I am poor, you are not being humble. You are naming yourself in lack. When you say, I am worried, you are not being practical. You are naming yourself in fear. When you say, I am behind, you are not being honest in the highest sense. You are naming yourself in delay. The true honesty is to remember what I am is, and choose the state consciously. The outer facts may be handled, but they need. You can have an obligation without saying, I am behind. You can desire money without saying, I am needy. You can seek a channel without saying, I am abandoned. You can notice a circumstance without saying, I am limited. You can be practical without being poor in consciousness. This distinction frees you. You may act wisely in the world while remaining supplied in consciousness. You may choose not to purchase something today without saying, I cannot. You may pay an obligation without feeling robbed. You may desire increase without worshipping increase. You may receive money without fear. All because I am has been placed in order. What you place after I am, you invite into expression. Place supply there, place provision there, place support there, place peace there, place enough there, place more than enough there, place right channels there. Let I am become the root of a new financial world. I am supplied. The root is hidden. The tree is seen. The tree is seen. Men often try to decorate the branches while the root remains in fear. They want the outer form to change while the inner name remains. I am without. But the wise man goes to the root. He changes the name. He changes the state. He does not fight every leaf. He nourishes. Now let the phrase become not only mental but sensory. How would your room feel if you were supplied? Perhaps it would feel less like a place of worry and more like a place of rest. How would the night feel if you were supplied? Perhaps it would no longer seem like a waiting room for fear, but a sanctuary where the deep mind receives instruction. How would your breath feel if you were supplied? Perhaps it would move with less resistance. How would tomorrow feel if you were supplied? Perhaps not fully known, but not terrifying. How would money feel if you were supplied? Not as a distant master, but as a natural servant. Let these sensations gather without effort. You need not see a clear picture. Feel the state. Feel the simplest relief. I am not abandoned by supply. Feel the simplest dignity. Money is not greater than I am. Feel the simplest authority. I choose the name I wear. Feel the simplest rest. Waiting is a posture. Supplied is a dwelling. Waiting is always looking toward the door. Supplied is sitting within the house. Waiting counts the minutes. Supplied rests in possession. Waiting asks, why not yet? Supplied says, the state is now. Waiting fears delay. Supplied trusts law. And because this video is for sleep, let the phrase become sleepable. Do not make it sharp. Do not make it fiery. Make it, I am supplied. A quiet chest. I am supplied. A resting jaw. I am supplied. A body no longer begging. I am supplied. A mind no longer chasing. I am supplied. A soul returning to cause. The phrase may shorten as you grow sleepy. It may become only supplied, 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 or it may become only I am. I am, I am, I am is the door through which every state enters your world. Tonight, let only the state of supply enter through that door. If fear tries to enter, let it pass. If lack tries to enter, do not feed it. If worry tries to bring old papers, old numbers, old memories, do not sit down with it. Return to the door. I am supplied. If the mind asks again, but how? Answer only, not because roads do not matter, but because roads are born from the state. The deep mind is impressed by simplicity carried with feeling. A single phrase, if lived in, can become a whole world. I am supplied contains rest. It contains money coming through right channels. It contains obligations met. It contains a softer body. It contains open doors. It contains dignity. It contains the end of chasing. It contains the remembrance that consciousness is cause. Do not make the phrase small. It may be simple, but it is not small. I am supplied. This phrase is a seed. In the seed is the tree, though the eye sees only a small thing. In the phrase is a world, though the ear hears only a few words. If you plant it in sleep, if you water it with feeling, if you do not dig it up in fear, it must grow according to its nature. A seed of supply cannot become a tree of lack if it is truly planted and tended. But you must not keep planting one seed and then another. You must not say, I am supplied, and then immediately plant, I never have enough. Remain loyal. Loyalty to the state is the work, not strain. Loyalty, not panic. Loyalty, not outward checking. Loyalty, not endless explanation. When a thought arises, remain loyal. When an obligation appears, remain loyal. When you speak of money, remain loyal. When you think of the desired amount, remain loyal. You are not loyal to appearances. You are loyal to the state that must become appearance. But now for sleep, do not think of morning. Let the phrase do its work tonight. I am supplied. Let it move into the breath. I am supplied. Let it move. Let it move into the hands. I am supplied. Let it move into the subconscious. I am supplied. There is no need to decorate it, no need to add too much. If you want a small companion phrase, you may say, money comes through right and natural channels. But return to the root. I am supplied. If you want to feel the end, you may say, everything necessary is provided. But return to the root. I am supplied. Let this become the phrase you can find even when half asleep. Let it be there when the mind drifts. Let it be there when the voice becomes background. Let it be there when the body becomes heavy. Let it be there like a quiet lamp. I am supplied. And because I am supplied, I do not need to chase. Because I am supplied, I do not need to beg. Because I am supplied, I do not need to. Because I am supplied, I can rest. Because I am supplied, I can let the bridge form. Because I am supplied, I can sleep. Now as you listen, allow the old names to be removed. Perhaps you have worn the name worried. Let it loosen. Perhaps you have worn the name poor. Let it loosen. Perhaps you have worn the name behind. Let it loosen. Perhaps you have worn the name unlucky, unsupported, burdened, excluded, unable. The eternal I am now takes a new garment, supplied, provided for, supported, guided, received, at peace. I am supplied. Let the jaw release into the name. Let the chest open into the name. Let the breath slow into the name. Let the shoulders fall into the name. Let the stomach soften into the name. Let the hands rest into the name. Let the mind descend into the name. Let the mind descend into the name. This is the name of one who has entered the state from which money comes. Do you feel the difference? Trying to get money still has money outside. I am supplied has supply within. Trying to get money may produce tension. I am supplied produces a place for money to arrive. Trying to get money may chase. I am supplied receives. Do not say, I am waiting for money. Say, I am supplied. The waiting self is all. And because he is complete, he can receive without turning money into a god. He can use money without fear. He can let money come without clinging. He can let it circulate without panic. He can welcome more without shame. He can bless the channels without worshipping them. This is the man you are assuming tonight, not later. Now, not when evidence agrees. Now, not after a sign. Now, I am supplied. You may now let it return and return, not to convince, but to carry you. I am supplied. The inner man is supplied. I am provided for. The deep receives supply. I am supplied. The channels are known to the law. I am provided for. Money comes naturally to this state. I am supplied. The body can rest. I am provided for. The night can receive. What I place after I am, I invite into expression. I place supply after I am. I place provision after I am. I place peace after I am. I place receiving after I am. I place right channels after I am. I place enough and more than enough after I am. I place dignity after I am. I place rest after I am. I am supplied. I am is the not as escape, as impression, not as unconscious wandering, as the planting of a new name. The old name is not needed tonight. The old fear is not needed tonight. The old sentence is not needed tonight. The old identity is not needed tonight. Only this, I am supplied. I am supplied. I am supplied. Let it be felt in the breath. Let it be felt in the chest. Let it be felt as the last name before sleep. I am supplied. And if the words fade, let the feeling remain. If the feeling becomes soft, let the softness remain. If sleep comes, let sleep receive the state. I am supplied. Now let us make peace with the symbol. For many men desire money while at the same time they are inwardly at war with it. They want it to come, yet they fear what it means. They ask for more, yet feel guilt. They say they wish to be supplied, yet they tighten at the thought of money, as though money itself were dangerous, unclean, or unworthy of spiritual life. They want the fruit, but they have cursed the tree. They want the stream, but they have called the stream corrupt. They want the servant, but they have greeted the servant with suspicion. You cannot welcome money with one hand and fear it with the other. Let this be heard softly. You cannot welcome money with one hand and fear it with the other. If you desire supply, but inwardly call money a burden, a danger, a trouble, a temptation, or a thing that belongs only to others, then the inner man is divided. One part calls, and another part refuses. One part says, "Come," and another part says, "I am not safe if you come." One part says, "I need more," and another says, "More." This division must be healed before sleep, not by worshipping money, not by making money holy in itself, not by exalting the symbol above consciousness, but by placing money in divine order, where it may be welcomed as an instrument and not feared as a master. Money is not evil. Money is not good in itself. It is an instrument. It is a form. It is a symbol that takes on the quality of the state that uses it. In the hands of fear, it may be. In the hands of vanity, it may become noise. In the hands of greed, it may become bondage. But in the hands of love, it may become service. In the hands of wisdom, it may become order. In the hands of generosity, it may become relief. In the hands of beauty, it may build a home, clothe a child, feed a body, open a road, bless a friend, create rest, and make possible what was once delayed. Therefore, supply is not sin. Supply is expression. Receive without guilt. Supply is not sin. Supply is expression. If the state is noble, money may become a noble servant. If the state is loving, money may carry love into form. If the state is peaceful, money may express peace through shelter, provision, and calm. If the state is generous, money may extend generosity into the visible world. The same coin may pass through. The state is the creator. This is why I would have you release guilt tonight. Guilt does not make you spiritual. Guilt does not make you pure. Guilt does not make you closer to God. Guilt often hides an assumption of unworthiness. It says, "I must not receive too much. I must not be too comfortable. I must not be too free. I must not have more than the old state allowed." And while the lips may speak of abundance, guilt guards the door and lets little. Let the door open. Let money feel safe in your consciousness. Let money feel safe in your consciousness. This is a gentle phrase, but it contains great truth. If money does not feel safe within you, you will either repel it, lose it in fear, spend it in panic, hoard it in terror, resent it while asking for it, or make it the measure of your worth. But when money feels safe in your consciousness, it can come without threatening identity. It can stay without, it can move without creating loss. It can serve without becoming master. It can increase without guilt. What would it mean for money to feel safe in you? It would mean that you no longer think receiving makes you less spiritual. It would mean that you no longer fear being judged for being provided for. It would mean that you no longer associate money only with conflict, arguments, pressure, debt, envy, or shame. It would mean that you can imagine money in your world and still feel pure, gentle, dignified, wise, and loving. It would mean that abundance does not make you a stranger to yourself. Some men are afraid not only of poverty, but of prosperity. They fear what they desire. They fear being seen. They fear changing. They fear the responsibility of receiving. They fear that money will make them hard, selfish, or distant. They fear that others will demand from them. They fear that receiving more will disturb old relationships. And so, while they ask for supply, they inwardly hold it away. They think money refuses them, but often they have refused the identity of the one who receives. Tonight, let receiving become safe. You may receive and remain kind. You may receive and remain humble. You may receive and remain generous. You may receive and remain spiritual. You may receive and remain. Money does not decide what you become. Your state decides what money expresses through you. If you fear that money will corrupt you, then you have made money greater than your state. But consciousness is master. The I am within you is not corrupted by a coin. The inner state gives meaning to the coin. So instead of fearing money, assume the state of one who uses money wisely. Assume the state of one who receives peacefully. Assume the state of one who blesses, builds, gives, rests, and moves in order. You cannot welcome money with one hand and fear it with the other. Perhaps the old teaching in your mind says, money is not for people like me. Let it be softened. Perhaps a memory says, money always brings trouble. Let it be softened. Perhaps a voice says, wanting money is selfish. Let it be softened. Perhaps fear says, if I have more, I. Perhaps guilt says, I should not ask for comfort. Let it be softened. These are states speaking. They are not eternal truth. What belongs to the state of supply is not guilt but gratitude, not fear but stewardship, not pride but dignity, not greed but expression, not anxiety but order. Money may express freedom, freedom to move without constant inward constriction, freedom to answer a need without collapsing, freedom to give without resentment, freedom to live with room in the soul. Money may express help, a meal given, a hand extended, a debt relieved, a child clothed, a household steadied, a friend supported, a useful work made possible. The form is money, but the state may be love. Money may express beauty, a room made peaceful, a garden tended, a garment chosen with care, a table. Beauty can be an expression of the divine imagination made visible. Money may express security, a roof held, a body nourished, a future met with steadier breath, an obligation answered, a night slept in peace. Security, when rightly held, is not idolatry, it is one of the outer garments of the state. I am provided for. Money may express generosity, not the forced giving of one who seeks approval. The man who fears money often fears giving, for he believes every act of giving diminishes him. But the man in supply can give from a larger state. He does not give to become supplied. He gives because he is supplied. Let money be cleansed in your imagination, not because it was ever impure in itself, but because your relationship to it may have been clothed in fear. See it now as a servant that can carry many good uses. See it as movement. See it as a symbol that obeys the state. See it as welcome, natural, and safe in the house of consciousness. When money feels welcome within you, it finds easier roads without. When money feels welcome within you, it finds easier roads without. For the outer world follows the inner arrangement. If money is welcomed inwardly, you will not unconsciously close the door when opportunity knocks. You will not shrink from receiving. You will not turn away. You will not sabotage the increase because the old self feels threatened. You will not make every form of money into an enemy. You will meet it from a calmer state. This does not mean you must be careless. Welcome does not mean foolishness. You may welcome money and still be wise. You may welcome money and still choose rightly. You may welcome money and still say yes or no according to the state of good order. Welcome simply means that money is no longer surrounded by fear in your consciousness. It means receiving no longer feels like danger. Before sleep, this matters greatly. For if you lie down desiring money, but the deep feeling says, money is frightening, money is wrong, money causes trouble, money makes me unsafe, then the subconscious receives conflict. But if you lie down and let money become safe, natural, useful, and welcome, so now gently say inwardly, not as a performance, but as an invitation to peace. Money is welcome in my world. Money is safe in my consciousness. Money serves good uses in my life. Money comes through right and natural channels. I receive without guilt. I am supplied. Feel whether the body resists. If it does, do not judge it. The body may remember old fear. The body may remember years of tension around money. Teach it. Speak softly to it through the state. Money is safe here. Receiving is safe here. Supply is welcome here. More is safe here. Provision is natural here. I am supplied. Let money feel safe in your consciousness. Let it feel safe in your chest, not as pressure, but as room. Let it feel safe in your hands, not as grasping, but as receiving. Let it feel safe in your throat, not. Let it feel safe in your imagination, not as danger, but as expression. If you have feared money leaving, let circulation become safe. If you have feared money coming, let receiving become safe. If you have feared money changing you, let your state become firm. If you have feared others seeing you supplied, let dignity become safe. If you have feared desiring more, let desire become clean. A desire for supply, when it may be the call to express more fully, serve more freely, live more spaciously, and rest more deeply. Receive without guilt. Supply is not sin. Supply is expression. If you were to receive money tonight in a way that harmed no one, blessed your life, answered an obligation, opened a door, allowed you to breathe, allowed you to give, allowed you to live with more dignity, would that be evil? No, it would be expression. If money came through honest channels, through right action, through a good idea, through service, through gift, through release, through opportunity, would you need to reject it to prove your worthiness? No. Receive. Receive with gratitude. Receive as one who knows supply belongs to consciousness. Guilt often disguises fear of expansion. The old self says, do not grow too large, do not receive too much, do not become. But the inner man is not called to remain in the old garment simply because it is familiar. If the desire for supply has awakened, it is because a state exists that calls you. Enter it. Enter it with innocence, enter it with dignity, enter it with gratitude. Do not let guilt masquerade as holiness. Holiness is not lack. Spirituality is not fear of receiving. Faith is not poverty of state. To know God as your own wonderful human imagination is to know that consciousness expresses itself through forms. If supply is assumed, forms of supply will appear. Do not reject the form because it is made visible. Do not say, I trust consciousness, but I fear the money it expresses. That is division. Let the expression be welcome. Let the symbol serve the state. You cannot welcome money with one hand and fear it with the other. Tonight, stop calling and resisting. Stop desiring and condemning. Let the inner man sit quietly and make peace. Money, you are welcome here as an expression of supply. Money, you are safe here as a servant, not a master. Money, you may come through right and natural channels. Money, you may serve freedom, beauty, help, security, and generosity. Money, you are not feared here. Money, you are not worshipped here. This kind of inward speech changes the emotional soil, and soil matters. A seed planted in hostile ground struggles. A seed planted in receptive soil grows more naturally. Your assumption of supply is the seed. Your emotional relationship with money is the soil. Let the soil be softened. Let it not be full of stones of guilt and thorns of fear. Let it be receptive. Let it be peaceful. Let it be well. Some doors do not open because the man has unconsciously locked them from within. He says he wants the door open, but fears what enters. He asks for money, but fears receiving. He asks for expansion, but fears becoming visible. He asks for freedom, but fears the responsibility of choice. So the lock remains. Tonight, unlock gently. Not every door must be flung open at once. Simply let the state become safe. I am safe to receive. I am safe to be supplied. I am safe with more. I am safe to use money wisely. I am safe to let money serve good. I am safe to rest in supply. Feel the word safe. It is a quiet word, but for many, it is the missing bridge. Money must feel safe before it can feel natural. Receiving must feel safe before it can feel easy. Increase must feel safe before it can feel steady. If you imagine money and immediately feel tension, then give the body safety first. Do not force wealth upon a frightened inner man. Comfort him into supply. Tell him you are not losing yourself by receiving. You are not betraying God by being supplied. You are not becoming cruel by having money. You are not becoming unsafe by expanding. You are not becoming unworthy by resting. Supply is expression. Let this be a tender correction. Many have used spiritual language to keep themselves small. They have thought that to desire money is to be less pure. But I tell you, desire itself is not impurity. The state determines the expression. If the desire is rooted in fear, it may become bondage. If rooted in love, order, freedom, service, and peace, it may become a beautiful expression. Do not fear desire. Purify the state. You may desire money and still desire God. You may desire comfort and still love truth. You may desire freedom and still serve others. You may desire beauty and still remain humble. You may desire increase and still live in gratitude. The question is not whether money appears. The question is what state is expressing through it. Therefore, welcome money into a noble state. Do not welcome it into panic. Do not welcome it into vanity. Do not welcome it into fear. Welcome it into I am supplied. Welcome it into peace. Welcome it into gratitude. Welcome it into usefulness. Welcome it into generosity. Then money is not dangerous. It is orderly. Let money feel safe in your consciousness. Now imagine, not with strain, but gently, that money enters the room of your consciousness. How do you greet it? Do you shrink? Do you apologize? Do you hide? Do you say, I should not want you? Do you say, you always leave me? Do you say, you cause trouble? Or do you remain seated in the state of supply and say, you are welcome here? You have a right place here. You serve good here. You come naturally here. You do not rule here. You are received here. This image can heal much. Let money no longer be a threatening visitor. Let it be a servant entering an ordered house. The house is consciousness. The master of the house is I am. The rule of the house is supply. The atmosphere of the house is peace. Money enters and serves. It does not dominate. It does not frighten. It does not accuse. It takes its place. How different this is from the old relationship. The old relationship says, if money comes, I must grip it. The new says, if money comes, I receive and direct it wisely. The old says, if money leaves, I am diminished. The new says, money circulates, but supply remains my state. The old says, wanting money makes me wrong. The new says, supply can express good through me. The old says, money is hard and unsafe. The new says, money is welcome, natural, and ordered. The old says, I am guilty for receiving. The new says, I receive without guilt, because supply is expression. Let this new relationship become the one you carry into sleep. You need not solve all financial fear tonight. You need only open the door to a new feeling, a feeling that money can be near without danger, a feeling that receiving can be peaceful, a feeling that increase can be safe, a feeling that supply can express without shame. The subconscious receives feeling. Give it a feeling of welcome, not greed. Welcome, not desperation. Welcome, not worship. Welcome, not fear. Welcome. Money is welcome in the world of the supplied self. I am supplied. Let your breath welcome supply. Inhale as though receiving is safe. Exhale as though guilt leaves. Inhale as though more can be held peacefully. Exhale as though fear softens. Inhale as though money is allowed to serve good. Exhale as though resentment dissolves. No need for effort, just a quieter relation. Money can come, money can stay, money can move, money can serve, money can bless, money can be received, money can be used wisely, money can be natural. I am supplied. If you have ever felt ashamed for wanting more, let the shame loosen now. Desire for supply may be the desire for fuller expression. You may wish to care for yourself. You may wish to care for another. You may wish to live without constant pressure. You may wish to answer obligations with peace. You may wish to create beauty. You may wish to support good work. You may wish to rest the body and free the mind. These are not shameful desires when held in right consciousness. They are forms of life seeking expression. Receive without guilt. Supply is not sin. Supply is expression. Let these words go deep. Supply is expression. Supply is the invisible taking a form that can serve the visible. Supply is the state becoming bread, shelter, clothing, movement, opportunity, time, relief, and space. Supply is consciousness showing itself as enough and more than enough. To reject supply in the name of fear is not holiness. To receive it in gratitude and order is alignment. When money feels welcome within you, it finds easier roads without. What roads might become easier when fear is gone? You may speak more clearly. You may ask more calmly. You may receive without shrinking. You may notice opportunities that guilt once hid. You may stop pushing away those who wish to help. You may stop destroying increase with panic. You may stop choosing from fear and begin choosing from state. The roads are not only outside, many roads open first within. There is a road from guilt to gratitude. There is a road from fear to welcome. There is a road from resentment to order. There is a road from shame to dignity. There is a road from chasing to receiving. There is a road from lack to I am supplied. Walk that road tonight, inwardly, while the body rests. Money does not need your fear in order to come. Fear has never been a true invitation. Fear is a wall wearing the mask of desire. Welcome is different. Welcome says there is room. Welcome says this belongs. Welcome says I am safe to receive. Welcome says money may serve the state. I now occupy. Welcome says I no longer fight the symbol. I place it in order. Let money be welcome. Let supply be welcome. Let receiving be welcome. Let increase be welcome. Let enough be welcome. Let more than enough be welcome. Let right channels be welcome. Let peaceful prosperity be welcome. Let generosity be welcome. Let rest be welcome. Let the whole inner house become hospitable to supply. Now, as the night becomes quieter, place your attention not on a sum, not yet on a scene, but on compatibility. Let yourself become emotionally compatible with money. That means money no longer feels like a shock to your system. It no longer feels like forbidden fruit. It no longer feels like a judge. It no longer feels like something that would make you lose yourself. It feels natural. It feels held in order. It feels safe in your consciousness. I am safe to receive. I am safe to have. I am safe to be supplied. I am safe to let money serve good. I am safe to welcome more. I am safe in the state of supply. This is important because what you cannot feel safe having, you may struggle to keep in consciousness. Let safety come first. Let the body soften. Let the inner man know, money can be here, and I remain myself. Money can increase, and I remain centered. Money can serve me, and I remain free. Money can come, and I remain in God. Money can be used, and I remain in love. You cannot welcome money with one hand and fear it with the other. So tonight, let both hands become open, not grabbing. Open, not pushing away. Open, not guilty. Open, not desperate. Open, hands of one who can receive. Hands of one who can bless. Hands of one who knows money is not master. Hands of one who knows supply is a state. Hands of one who knows I am supplied. Let money feel safe in your consciousness. Let receiving feel safe in your body. Let increase feel safe in your identity. Let abundance feel safe in your imagination. Let provision feel safe in your sleep. And now repeat softly, not to force, but to welcome. Money is welcome here. Supply is welcome here. Receiving is welcome here. Increase is welcome here. Freedom is welcome here. Generosity is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. I am supplied. Again softer. Money is welcome here. Supply is welcome here. Receiving is welcome here. I am supplied. And if the words begin to fade, let only the feeling remain. A feeling of no longer pushing money away. A feeling of no longer fearing it. A feeling of no longer being ashamed to receive. A feeling that the symbol has been cleansed of old fear and restored to its rightful place. A feeling that money can come and you can remain peaceful. This is the change of relationship. Not money above you, not money against you, not money outside you. Money welcomed as expression. Money received in order. Money serving supply. Money safe in consciousness. I am supplied. Now rest in that welcome. Rest in the emotional permission to receive. Rest in the quiet knowledge that supply is not sin. Rest in the truth that money may express freedom, help, beauty, security, and generosity. Rest in the feeling that when money is welcome within you, it finds easier roads without. Rest as one who no longer fears receiving. Rest as one who no longer curses the symbol. Rest as one who no longer resists the answer. Rest as one who has made room. Rest as one who can receive more and remain at peace. I am supplied. Money is welcome. Receiving is safe. Supply is expression. And now, my friend, let everything become quiet. Let the lesson become quiet. Let the desire become quiet. Let the mind become quiet. Let money no longer be a thought that pulls you forward. Let it no longer be a question that keeps the eyes awake in the dark. Let it no longer be a road you must run upon tonight. The running is finished. The begging is finished. The old reaching is finished. You are not going out into the night to find supply. You are entering the state where supply is natural. I am supplied. Let that be enough. I am supplied. Not tomorrow. Not after the world agrees. Not after every appearance has changed. I am supplied now, in consciousness, in the deep, in the state I choose to wear before sleep. I am supplied. Let the body hear it slowly. Let the breath receive it softly. Let the hidden places that have been afraid of tomorrow hear the new name. I am supplied. I let the money I want come to me. I do not chase it. I let it come. I do not run after money in imagination. I do not search for it with a frightened heart. I do not make it distant by pursuing it. I do not make it master by fearing it. I let the money I want come to me from the state of being supplied. I let it come through right channels. I let it come through natural channels. I let it come through ways known and unknown to the waking mind. I am supplied. Money comes to me naturally. Let those words become gentle now. Money comes to me naturally. Let those words become gentle now. Not by fear, not by strain, not by worshipping the symbol. Money comes to me naturally because supply is my state. Money comes to me naturally because consciousness is cause. Money comes to me naturally because I no longer stand outside the door. I no longer sleep as one abandoned. I no longer call myself lack. I no longer wear the name of not enough. Money comes to me naturally. The money I want comes through right channels. The money I want comes through right channels. Right channels. Natural channels. Peaceful channels. honest channels, suitable channels, channels that belong to the state of supply. I do not need to force the channel tonight. I do not need to name every road. I do not need to keep the mind awake searching for the bridge. The bridge is forming while I sleep. 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 Let the words become softer each time. The bridge is. I do not build it with anxiety. I do not hold it together with worry. I do not watch it with fear. The law knows the way. The deep knows the way. The state contains the way. I give the deep my state, and the way unfolds in silence. The law works in silence. The law works in silence. The law works in silence. It does not need my struggle tonight. It does not need my fear. It does not need my restless planning. It does not need my old argument with appearances. The law works in silence. The seed works in silence. The root works in silence. The deep receives in silence. And I may sleep. I do not chase money. I receive it. I do not chase money. I receive it. I do not chase supply. I enter supply. I do not chase the effect. I return to the cause. I do not chase the sign. I assume the state. I do not chase the road. I rest in the end. I do not chase money. I receive it. I receive calmly. I receive naturally. I receive without. I receive as one who is provided for. I receive as one who knows money is not master. I receive as one who knows consciousness is master. I receive as one who says, I am supplied. Let the whole body receive now. Let the forehead soften. Let the eyes rest. Let the jaw release. Let the tongue be still. Let the throat open. Let the shoulders fall. Let the chest become spacious. Let the breath move slowly. Let the hands rest as hands that can receive. Let the stomach, let the body stop chasing. Let the body become supplied. I am supplied. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. My subconscious accepts the state of supply, not the state of lack, not the state of fear, not the state of chasing, not the state of distance. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. It accepts I am supplied. It accepts provision. It accepts receiving. It accepts right channels. It accepts money coming naturally. It accepts the bridge forming while I sleep. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. Let this enter beneath thought. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. Let this enter beneath fear. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. Let this enter beneath memory. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. Let this enter beneath the old story. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. Now there is no need to force a picture. If an image comes, let it be simple. If no image comes, let the feeling remain. The feeling is enough. The feeling of being provided for. The feeling of money no longer being far. The feeling of the body no longer running. The feeling of the old urgency ending. The feeling of enough. The feeling of supply. The feeling of I am supplied. I let the money I want come to me. I let it come. I let it come. I let it come. I let it come. Not because I am passive in life, but because inwardly I am no longer chasing. Not because I refuse action, but because action will rise from supply. Not because I am asleep to the world, but because sleep receives the state. I let the money I want come to me. I let it come through the right thought. I let it come through the right meeting. I let it come through the right word. I let it come through the right opportunity. I let it come through the right opening. I let it come through the ways the law knows. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. I am supplied. Let these words circle softly. I am supplied. Money comes to me naturally. The money I want comes through right channels. I do not chase. I receive. My subconscious accepts supply. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. I wake as one who is provided for. It is done. I rest in supply. Again, slower. I am supplied. Money comes to me naturally. The money I want comes through right channels. I do not chase. I receive. My subconscious accepts. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. I wake as one who is provided for. It is done. I rest in supply. Let the words no longer feel like instruction. Let them feel like a rhythm. Let them feel like breath. Let them feel like the rocking of the inner man into sleep. Let them become less sharp, less mental, less effortful. Let them become atmosphere. I am supplied. That is the atmosphere. I receive. That is the posture. Money comes naturally. That is the assumption. The bridge is forming. That is the trust. The law works in silence. That is the rest. It is done. That is the end. I rest in supply. That is the sleep. Now, let every old sentence fade. I never have enough. Let it fade. Money is hard. Let it fade. I am behind. Let it fade. I cannot afford life. Let it fade. Money does not come to me. Let it fade. I must chase. Let it fade. I must fear. Let it fade. I must solve it tonight. Let it fade. They are not the language of the supplied self. They are not the language carried into this sleep. They may have been spoken before, but they are not spoken now. Now the inner speech is simple. I am supplied. I am provided for. Money comes to me naturally. The money I want comes through right and natural channels. I do not chase money. I receive it. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. I wake as one who is provided for. It is done. I rest in supply. Let the body go deeper. The forehead resting in supply. The eyes resting in supply. The jaw resting in supply. The throat resting in supply. The shoulders resting in supply. The chest resting in supply. The hands resting in supply. The breath resting in supply. The whole body resting in supply. I rest in supply. I rest in supply. I rest in supply. There is enough for this breath. There is enough for this night. There is enough. There is enough for the deep to receive. There is enough for the law to work. There is enough because I am supplied. Enough is here as rest. Supply is here as state. Money comes as expression. The bridge forms as movement. The law works in silence. And I sleep. I do not chase money. I receive it. 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 Let the phrase become softer. I do not chase. I receive. I receive. I receive. Money comes to me naturally, naturally, calmly, rightly, peacefully, through channels known and unknown, through roads seen and unseen, through movements already forming, through the bridge being built in silence. Money comes to me naturally because I am supplied. The money I want comes through right channels. The money I want comes through right channels. The money I want comes through right channels, not forced channels, not fearful channels, not desperate channels, right channels, natural channels, peaceful channels, lawful channels, channels belonging to the state of supply. I do not need to see them tonight. I do not need to name them tonight. I do not need to guard them tonight. I sleep, and the bridge forms. The bridge is forming while I sleep. 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 A thought may come, a door may open, a word may be spoken, a meeting, a burden may lift, a channel may appear, a way may be made. But tonight, I do not chase the way. I rest in the end. I am supplied. The law works in silence. 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 It works beneath the senses. It works beneath fear. It works beneath the visible report. It works beneath the old story. It works beneath the night. It works as I rest. It works as I sleep. It works because the state has been accepted. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. It receives the feeling of enough. It receives the feeling of being provided for. It receives the feeling of money coming naturally. It receives the feeling of right channels opening. It receives the feeling of the bridge forming. It receives the feeling of done. It receives the feeling of supply. I give the deep one state tonight. I am supplied. Not many states, one state. I am supplied, not confusion. Supply, not fear. Supply, not lack. Supply, not chasing. Receiving, not begging. Being, not waiting. Having, not distance. Belonging. I am supplied. Let the word supplied become heavy with rest. Supplied, supplied, supplied. Let it move through the room. Supplied. Let it move through the body. Supplied. Let it move through the breath. I do not chase money. I receive it. Money comes through right and natural channels. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. I wake as one who is provided for. It is done. I rest in supply. Now let the mind stop explaining. Let it stop arranging. Let it stop arguing. Let it stop checking. Let it stop reaching. It has done enough for one day. The deep can receive now. The deep can work now. The law can move now. The night can hold the state now. I rest. I rest in supply. I rest in the fulfilled state. I rest where money is natural. I rest where receiving is safe. I rest where the bridge forms. I rest where the law works in silence. I rest where I am supplied. There is nothing more to chase. There is nothing more to force. There is nothing more to beg. There is nothing more to fear. There is only the state. I am supplied. Let the old world be old. Let the old report be old. Let the old voice be old. Let the new state be now. I am supplied. Money comes to me naturally. The money I want comes through right channels. I do not chase. I receive. Again, softly. I am supplied. Money comes to me naturally. The money I want comes through right channels. I do not chase. I receive. Again, like breath. I am supplied. Money comes naturally. Right channels open. I receive. Again, even softer. Supply. Receive. If the words fade, let the feeling remain. If the feeling fades, let the rest remain. If the rest deepens, let sleep come. If sleep comes, let it take the state. I am supplied. The money I want is not far from consciousness. The money I want comes through right and natural channels. The money I want belongs to the state of supply. The money I want comes as expression. I do not chase it. I receive it. I let it come. Let the money come to the supplied self. Let it come to the peaceful self. Let it come to the receiving self. Let it come to the one who welcomes it. Let it come to the one who does not fear it. Let it come to the one who sleeps in supply. I am that one now. I sleep as that one now. I rest as that one now. I am supplied. My subconscious accepts supply. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. I wake as one who is provided for. I wake as one who is provided for. I wake as one who is provided for. But I do not need to think of waking now. I may sink. I may soften. I may rest. I may sleep. The morning will come in its hour. The bridge will form in its way. The law will work in its silence. The state has been given. The deep has received. I do not need to keep watch. I rest in supply. I rest in supply. I rest in supply. It is done. It is done. It is done. Not by strain. Done. Not by fear. Done. Not by chasing. Done. Not by assumption. By I am. I am supplied. It is done. I rest in supply. Now, let there be fewer words. I am supplied. I receive. Money comes naturally. Right channels open. The bridge forms. The law works. I rest again. I am supplied. I receive. Money comes naturally. Right channels open. The bridge forms. The law works. I rest. And again. I am supplied. I receive. I am supplied. I receive. I rest. I am supplied. I receive. I rest. I am supplied. I receive. I rest. The state is enough. The state is planted. The state is received. The state is working. The state is supply. I am supplied. There is nothing to chase in the dark. There is nothing to wrestle in the dark. There is nothing to prove in the dark. There is nothing to fear in the dark. The dark is the soil. The state is the seed. Supply is the heart. I sleep in provision. I sleep in receiving. I sleep in right channels. I sleep while the bridge forms. I sleep while the law works in silence. I sleep as one who is provided for. I am supplied. Money comes to me naturally. The money I want comes through right channels. I do not chase money. I receive it. My subconscious accepts the state of supply. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. I wake as one who is provided for. It is done. I rest in supply. Let this be the final movement. Not reaching, receiving, not fearing, receiving, not asking, receiving, not running, receiving, not waiting, receiving, receiving as the supplied one, receiving as the peaceful one, receiving as the one who knows, receiving as the one who sleeps. I receive, I receive, I receive, I am supplied, I am supplied, I am supplied. It is done, it is done, it is done. I rest. Let the mind go. Let the old pursuit go. Let the old fear go. Let the old lack go. Let the old name go. The new name remains. I am supplied. The new state remains. Supply. The new movement remains. Receiving. The new trust remains. The bridge is forming. The new law remains. The law works in silence. I rest. I receive. I sleep. I am supplied. I am supplied. I am supplied. Money. I rest in supply. And now softly, without effort, without question, without chasing, I sleep as one who is already provided for.